It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice on the board doing his thing. Is TLC, and to my right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Dave Biddle in the building. If you're a Buckeye fan, you know him for his tremendous work covering the Ohio State football beat for a long time. And on the money right here on the Fan, one of our own teammates in the house, Dave Biddle, filling in for AR. Bids, happy Monday, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ice, man. Always great to work with you. How you doing today?
I am hot.
Yes.
It's one of those ones today where this is a cut above when we talk heat, humidity, and all of those things. Just buckle up, stay hydrated, stay inside. More importantly, maybe go get your tan on for a little bit. But yeah, Bids, we're talking mid-90s with a feel of maybe triple digits out there for the next few days. So it's going to be fun to complain about that. But other than that, man, I am good. But it's steamy out there, my guy. Steamy.
It is. I mean, 90 would be bad enough without the humidity. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it feels like it's like 120 out there or something like that. So yeah, I don't do well in heat. I don't do well in super cold anyway, but I'd rather be cold than like ridiculously hot, because at least I can throw on extra layers. There's only so many layers you can take off.
Yes.
Before you get arrested.
No doubt.
No
doubt about it. I always say the sweet spot for me is early-ish fall, right? When we're peaking out at 65 and the low is 50, 55. That's a win for me. That is the perfect window of time when we talk temps. I know people like this stuff. You get out, you have the cookout, you go to the pools, whatever. I am worthless in this type of heat. I'm worthless in this type of heat, and I'm worthless in the freezing cold. If you need me to do anything in those temperatures, it ain't getting done, because I am just a human that offers nothing when it's this warm outside.
It's like our friends that live down in the Phoenix area. I have a couple buddies that live down there, and they say, yeah, we just don't leave the house. We're indoors the entire summer. That's what it's like this week in Ohio. Like, I'm not going to leave the house. Yeah, I tried to get a little sun yesterday. I was out there for 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I can't even take this.
I don't blame you, man. But happy Monday to you wonderful listeners. Thanks for your time. As always, we'll have some fun today at 12:30. The world of Buckeye football and recruiting never sleeps. So Bill Kurlick from bucknuts.com and 24/7 Sports will join us at the bottom of this hour. 1:30, we will put a nail in the coffin of the NBA season with our guy, Keith Smith, who covers the Association for Spotrac. Does a tremendous job doing that. So we'll talk about Thunder Pacers and the look ahead to next year, especially for the Cavs, and with that Halliburton injury, and what does that mean for the Eastern Conference. If you're a Cavs fan, you got to be feeling pretty good about the outlook of the conference, right? Because you're talking about, well, what the heck's going to happen with the Boston Celtics, with Jason Tatum being out for the year? There's some stuff out there that they may trade a piece or two, like a Drew Holiday, and now you have the unfortunate injury to Tyrese Halliburton, and he's no longer going to be in the mix for next year as well. So a core bids that we know is very, very good. I think you run it back with those guys. You added a guy like DeAndre Hunter. You turn the page into 25 and 26 as a Cavs franchise, and you're looking around and saying, okay, there's room, there's wiggle room here for us to really get back in the mix and maybe pop up in the finals next year.
Definitely. And, the Cavs were the #1 seed this year, but you're right. I mean, with Tatum out next year, at least we think he's going to be out the entire year. And now Halliburton, you have to think the Cavs are not just the favorite to be the regular season champ, but to get out of the East. And then, we'll see what happens there. It's ridiculous how much stronger the West is. It just keeps getting stronger, feels like, too. But the Cavs, to me, look like they're going to be, we'll see what happens during the offseason, but I'll be surprised if the Cavs aren't the betting favorite to win the East next year.
There's a lot going on the Western Conference side of things. It looks like they're going to add Cooper Flagg into the mix with the Dallas Mavericks having the #1 overall pick. San Antonio's got a very high pick as well. You add that to Victor Wembanyama. It's going to be crazy over there. But, yeah, since we're talking hoops, let's get right into it. First of all, what a series. What a series that we just watched. I was wrong. I think a lot of people were wrong because there was a lot of Thunder and fives out there prior to this series tipping off. I was one of those people, but the Indiana Pacers, game in and game out, series in and series out, throughout this postseason just showed why they were the definition of a sleeper team. Because every time you slept on them, the alarm clock went off and they woke you up. Unfortunately for them, heartbreak in the worst way possible happens yesterday. Early in the game, I mean, Halliburton's coming out and just bang, 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 hitting threes, and you're thinking, okay, there's something here. He's setting the tone. We know if this is a team that you let hang around, they can knock you out late in the fight. But he goes down with that calf injury that we saw as soon as you saw the replay bids, and you could see that ripple effect in his right leg right there at the calf area. You know what it was. You don't have to be a doctor. We've seen plenty of those, unfortunately, in sports to know that that was an Achilles pop. So heartbreak for them, but the season as a whole for Indiana, much respect to them, because I don't think anybody out there outside of Pacers fans really believe that they could do what we saw them do this season.
And even after that injury, and you're right, Halliburton came out, he drained 3 threes before you could blink, and then he gets hurt, and you're thinking, okay, now they're finally done. And then they keep doing what the Pacers were doing throughout the playoffs. You're thinking, man, they might actually get this done, even with their superstar, at least one of their superstars, on the sideline. But and it's crazy, man. We've seen this a lot now in the finals in recent years. Clay got hurt during the finals. Durant got hurt. And now Halliburton, all these guys being Warriors trying to play, no pun intended, with Durant and Clay. But these guys just people say this day now, all these guys are soft. They don't play through injuries. Look at these guys. I mean, they obviously have more money than they'll ever know what to do with, but they want to win. And Halliburton, there was that story in The Athletic that had him as like the second most overrated. This is by the players. The players voted on this. I just think they don't like him. They voted him. This is like a few months ago. They voted him as like the second most overrated player in the league. And it's like, how you like me now?
Oh,
he was, and you know what? They're very well coached. And it was a heck of a series. Nobody saw this going 7 games, and it was just it was the first time in 9 years we had a Game 7 in the finals. Yeah. Obviously, the last one being LeBron and the Cavs beating the Warriors in 2016. So yeah, man, that was a fun series. And the Thunder are already the betting favorite to repeat. That's no surprise. They were the youngest team. I know you know this. They were the youngest team in the NBA this year, and they won the title. So they're not going anywhere.
It's rare that you get a young team that gets to the finals, with that core for the first time and gets it done. That franchise, the Thunder, had to go through it the hard way years ago when they were a young team, when KD, Harden, and Russell Westbrook met up with D-Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh and lost in a handful of games in the finals. I think what helped them is on the flip side of that, wasn't a very seasoned team, right? Like the Pacers had made some noise, went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but it's not a lot of outside of Siakam's guys that knew what that moment was all about. And so just top to bottom, from the front office down to the locker room, this has been brewing for a while. I mean, Oklahoma City last year, one of the best teams in the West. You turn the page to this season, they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was the MVP of the year, checked every single box along the way. The scoring champ, Finals MVP, All-NBA, Western Conference MVP, now Finals MVP as well. Like, that's what you need, is that type of leadership from your star player. And you can make a case, even zooming out from the NBA, that the Thunder's outlook as a team and franchise may be the best in all of sports, as far as the core that you're talking about, the assets that they have to get even better, and guys in-house like a Chet Holmgren that I think will level up even more and become better. Like, this is as good as it gets, the job that Sam Presti did as their GM. This is the dream. You won the ultimate goal without spending all of your draft capital to bring in a big splashy veteran or a guy on the come up or whoever that may be in a trade scenario. It couldn't look any better for what Oklahoma City did. And it's very rare, Bids, as you know, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport that we're talking about, that a team wins it this young and still has so much wiggle room to become better down the road.
It's a little bit like when the Bulls finally broke through, because they never got to the finals, when they finally got past the Pistons to win the East, and they beat the Lakers with Magic, and they actually lost the first game, and then look what happened. They won that one, and they won 5 more after that, and who knows if Jordan didn't take a couple years off. They weren't as young as OKC, but it reminds me a little bit of that, because you're right. Usually when these teams break through, it's like, okay, they get to the finals and then they get knocked down, and then they figure out a way to get over the top. I guess the Warriors were another exception to that. The Warriors, when they broke through, when they won, they got to their first one and won that one. But yeah, man, how about that Paul George trade a few years ago for SGA? How's that working out for OKC? People questioned it too. They're like, really? And they got more than just SGA out of that because I believe they got extra picks as well.
Yeah.
That'll go down as one of the biggest steals in NBA history. Nobody talks about it. I think they probably will now, though.
I think it's a great point that you bring that up, Bids, because baked into that trade is the star player that they got, but one of those draft picks in that trade as well got them Jalen Williams, who is your Robin. So you got your Batman and your Robin for years to come. And just, it's a fun story for a, quote, small market team. Two small market teams in the NBA Finals, but definitely a smaller market out there in Oklahoma City. For them to get it done the way that they did and build this thing the way that they built it was very, very cool to see. So congrats to the Thunder for winning the NBA title and hoisting up that Larry O'Brien trophy. I saw Alex Caruso, who is I'm using quotes here, a vet on that team. I think he's like 29, 30 years old. He had to show those guys how to pop bottles in the locker room because he was a part of the Lakers championship in 2020, and guys didn't know how to open champagne bottles. Like I saw Jalen Williams, who they call J-Dub, who's the Robin on the team, last night. Bid said for the first time in his life had a drip of alcohol, which was champagne. First time in his life he never drank alcohol, and he had a little sip of champagne last night. So that's how young they are. They don't even know how to open a champagne bottle.
And they have a guy, one of their star players, who's never had a sip of alcohol in his life. Now, first of all, stay clean. Keep doing that, man. Yeah. It's working for you.
It's working. They know what they're doing, man. Fun stuff over there in the Western Conference. Congrats again to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Coming up, what type of impact did the Michigan loss have on last year's Buckeye football team? Jim Tressel weighed in on just that. You will hear right after the break. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
There's a huge focus in America today about your health, and you're determined to look beyond the pills. You don't want to have surgery, because I know I didn't. So you want to talk to the person that's in pain right now? Well, that was me. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you love, and maybe you've done everything you can. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for my friends at QC Kinetics. They're different. They're not about those quick fixes. This isn't going to be some shot that's going to make you feel better. It's not a surgery that's going to put you on the shelf. They're about long-term relief. This is regenerative medicine we're talking about right here. Your own body's healing properties to heal the damaged tissue at the cellular level. QC Kinetics, they've helped tens of thousands of people, so many of them right here in the Columbus area and across the country. They'd be honored to help you just like they helped me with my knee, just like they helped my dad. Here's what they're going to do. They're not going to mask the pain. They're going to go to the source of it. So go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus to see if you're a good candidate, or give them a call at 380-28-4544. They've got offices in Dublin and in Gahanna and newly in Canal Winchester and Grove City.
Jeremy Foltz, CEO and co-founder of 3C Technology Solutions, speaks about working with First Bank of Central Ohio.
I think FBCO had a really nice personal touch. Transition was really easy and much cleaner than I thought it would be. Some very specific things that made me very excited to work with them are availability and creativity.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Beds are us when dreams don't get in. Beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us when dreams don't get in. Beds are us.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card within 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers.
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for today. On your Monday, we're tracking plenty of sunshine, another hot one. Highs around 96 this afternoon, but with that humidity, it's going to be feeling like it's over 100 here through the afternoon. So stay cool and stay hydrated here today, but also for the next several days. Tracking a high near 97 here for Tuesday, 94 on Wednesday, and staying into the 90s for the rest of the week, but also looking at chances for showers and storms by Thursday and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
No one funks up the work microwave like these two. Fish again? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Matty Ice, Dave Biddle in the house today for AR Bottom of the Hour. We will talk all things Buckeye recruiting with Bill Kurlick from 247sports.com. Big thank you goes out to everyone that came out and participated in the Fans 5K. The inaugural 9.71K race. It looked awesome on social media. You guys are tremendous. Thank you in coming out for showing your support. Shout out to Eric Reeser. Shout out to T-Bone, Adam King, Tyvis, Common Man, the whole gang that was out there. From forgetting anybody, please forgive me. But it was cool to see, and I got you in a second, TLC. It was cool to see just the support online. It looked like people were really enjoying themselves outside of Tyvis that was dying at the end of his mile. I saw that video, and Adam King really ran in a suit. So shouts to Adam King for being a man of his word. He looked absolutely cooked at the end of this thing. But again, just off the top, wanted to say thank you to everyone that came out and supported this thing. It looked like it was a good time for a good cause, so we really appreciate it. TLC, you were there on the grounds. How did it go? How did it go for you? What was the energy like? Like, take us behind the curtain a little bit for the people that weren't able to make it out there.
Dude, there were a ton of people, which is incredible for the very first one. I think they said something like 700 people.
It's awesome.
And it's, that sounds like a pain almost, 700 people, but everyone's spread out. We got different people running different distances. We had 3 different distances. We had runners, joggers, walkers. We had a little bit of everything. So you're able to space out and kind of create your own space along the way. But it was awesome. It was awesome to see how many people showed up. It's just a testament, too, to the culture of this city and how great of a sports city it is that we're able to have so many loyal listeners because, and the city, Ohio State sets the tone for it. The Jackets set the tone for that. Yeah. And so all of us be able to come together, have a lot of fun. It was great. I was able to complete the full 9.71.
There we go.
Didn't walk a single step.
My boy. There we go.
So I did it. We are going to have some conversations with Adam King because I got some interesting reports about his run. So when he comes on and does his 1:30 segment on Thursday, we can talk about how I started running the race with him. He was in the full suit. At the 0.7 mile marker, the suit jacket came off and went Boy Scout style around his waist. At about the 1 to 1.25 mile spot, I turned around. I couldn't see him anymore.
Okay.
So there was an early part where Adam went ahead of me, And then before even realizing it, I felt Adam like come up from the side. So I had somehow passed him. So his pace was a little bit all over the place. And according to Eric Reeser, he is reporting that at some point along the way, he jogged past Adam, who was sitting in the shade under a tree. And so
That's on brand.
So Reeser had to run forward to go to the next hydration station, get some water, run back against traffic to go give some water to Adam.
For the diva himself.
Who then dumped it on his head, and Reeser's like, that's not why I just did that for you.
Okay, there you go.
But Adam King is here. I saw him at work today. He's not dead. I can confirm that.
He's alive.
But we're going to have to figure out what happened with him because it sounded like his race kind of went all over the place.
Some funny business was happening for Adam King. But no, again, you mentioned it. Thanks to all the listeners that came out. You guys are the best. We really appreciate your support. Bids, have you ever been a runner in your life at all? I have so much respect for people that do long distance running. My mental capacity, I don't have it in me to do anything past a mile at best.
Couple years in college, I jogged and I hated it. It was like it was torture. Yeah. But you got to do what you got to do to try and get like some dates while you're in college, right? Starting to put on because when you're young, if you have a certain body type, you play sports. It's like I could eat whatever I wanted to growing up and still stay somewhat not fat, and then you get to college and that freshman 15 is real. So I started to jog, but it was like torture for me. So I decided, how about I just eat better, and so I don't have to torture myself jogging. But no, you should do both. You should eat well and you should jog because it definitely gets you in good shape. And this sounds like a heck of an awesome event, man. 700 people for the first one. Yeah. That's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So that happened on Saturday. Friday, when I was out, I know the guys took the show on the road. So AR, Scotty Vegas, thanks to Scotty Vegas for filling in for me. They were at Gigi's golf outing. I know AR holds Gigi's close to his heart for what they do for animals. That's just tremendous stuff, especially the dogs. But the one and only, one of the icons attached to Ohio State's program, Jim Tressel, joined the show. And if you missed their interview with Tress, we'll play some sound bites for you here from the national championship coach himself. And here he is on what he thought the Michigan loss did for last year's football squad.
If you have good leadership, you have people looking at the full body of work. And yes, we didn't win the Michigan game, but you look at that full body of work this year, and really since he's been there, Ryan's done a great job. And, so it is a different world right now. But, if you really think about it, our last 3 national championships were after great suffering. Mm-hmm. Think about our seniors in 2002. They'd been 6-6, 8-4, and 7-5. They'd had enough. You think about Urban's coaching change, no bowl game, lost their quarterback, lost to Virginia Tech early in the year, lost another quarterback. Suffering does something for you. The suffering, with us losing the rivalry game, there's some real positive to everything not going perfectly.
Bids, coach right there used the word suffering a couple times. And what I find interesting is when you're a team that suffers the way Ohio State did a year ago and has the last few seasons, unfortunately, but specifically talking about last year's team, sometimes that suffering ends your season in sports. And you don't have the opportunity to flip the page immediately and play for the ultimate prize. In this sport, sometimes, hey, you lose to Michigan, you go on, you can play in some New Year's Six Bowl without this new format, and that's your season. I think what it took last year was a special team from the neck up as far as veteran leadership goes within their own locker room to do what they did. We heard that Coach Day and some members of the staff, they owned their part as well, which was awesome. But I truly believe that the way that they were wired from the leaders that were on offense and defense a year ago allowed them to get back on, the bike and start riding again and finish through the finish line the way that they did. I don't think a young team that hadn't been around the block and had multiple guys that have been around the block could have accomplished what we saw them accomplish as far as dominance from start to finish. I mean, Bids, we all watch these games, and they just had their foot on the neck of their opponents in that college football playoff run with the way that they started games from Tennessee on down. I mean, you think about Tennessee and Oregon and Texas, those first 3 games in the college football playoff. In the first quarter of those matchups, they blanked all 3 of those teams. They did not give them any life on defense. They choked them out, and on offense, they ran away from them. But I think that pressure that Coach Tressel was talking about, I think that the way that team was constructed with the seasoned vets allowed them to get off the mat as quickly as they did.
You know, it's interesting, man, because we'll never know. If they don't lose to Michigan, do they still go on to win the national championship? I'm convinced they were the best team. They proved that. And just look at the NFL draft. Look at the coaching staff. Look at the guys that have coming back like J.J. Smith and Caleb Downs and others, not just the guys that got drafted. So, and they went on that dominant run. But the mental side of sports is so important, like Coach Tressel was alluding to. If they don't lose that Michigan game, perhaps they still go on and win the national championship. But we'll never know because they had that come-to-Jesus moment where they all got together. They aired their grievances, and everybody got it off their chest. I hear Caleb Downs was one of the main leaders there on a group of, he was a sophomore, first year on the team, and he was one of the main leaders in that. And they had some great senior leaders on this team, like Jack Sawyer and Tuimuloau and many others. And you're right, the coaches owned it. They were able to air their grievances, get that out of their system, and then just go on a historic 4-game run. And it's crazy, man. Maddie will never know, if they don't lose that game to Michigan, where they were 3 touchdown favorites, do they get off the carpet and still win the national championship? We'll never know. It's a lot like college basketball now, where you could be, let's say it's North Carolina Duke. Let's say you're North Carolina, you lose to Duke twice in the regular season, then you lose to them in the ACC tournament. But then you're North Carolina, you go in and win the national championship. You're like, we'll be 0-3 against Duke every year if we can win the national title. It's just crazy. Cooper must be like, can we have had this system when I was there, have a second chance? Because think about 96 when Ohio, so you mentioned, at least if you lose to Michigan, you'd still go to a nice bowl game. 96 is a great example. They lose a game much like this game in 2024. They lost 13-9 in 1996. They were heavy favorites. They should have won that game. They go to the Rose Bowl, the Buckeyes do. They beat Jake Plummer and Arizona State. If they would have beaten Michigan, they'd be national champs. If there was a playoff that year, who knows? And that was because of that loss to Michigan, that's the only reason Steve Spurrier won a title at Florida. So, yeah, John Cooper must be somewhere like, come on, why couldn't we have a playoff back then?
No doubt. This year's team, Bids, it's going to be so fascinating to see how they handle pressure points throughout the year. One of those pressure points could come right out of the gate and probably will come out of the gate with what Texas will be bringing in to the shoe. But the Michigan thing will hover over this program until that's corrected. The national championship solved a lot of wrongs. I was on team, hey, you win the Natty. That's what it's all about. The Michigan thing, it is what it is. You'll figure it out down the road. But this year's team, outside of a Caleb Downs on defense, outside of a, Sonny Styles on defense and Jeremiah Smith on offense and Carnell Tate, there's leaders there for sure, but there were so many last year. How does this team handle getting punched in the chin, getting punched in the ribs, whether it's, the Illinois game, the Penn State game, that Michigan game, that will be on the road this year, what is always a hostile environment, no matter where that game is going to be played. We just have so much to learn about this year's team, and that's why these are some of my most exciting seasons, right, is when, because last year you could look at the team on paper and say, okay, they're going to be a squad. Like you knew what you were getting. We know the talent is over there, but just for a lot of guys that have to step up, we haven't seen them consistently do it. And I think that's going to be the fun part of 2025.
And if you're a fan, obviously the expectations never change, the goals never change, but like having that national championship under your belt from last year kind of takes the pressure off of this year. Yeah. Now, you got to beat Michigan. My thing is, people what would make it a successful season this year? It's like, to me, it boils down to beat Michigan, make the CFP, see where the chips fall from there. But those two things, if those two things happen, I think we're going to look back on this as a successful season.
Yeah. Completely agree. Coming up in 2 minutes, Bill Kurelic does an awesome job covering Ohio State recruiting and recruiting elsewhere. Will join us right here on The Fan.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Check it.
Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double.
Check it.
Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly.
Check it.
Common Man here. Let me tell you something. I'm on these Germain inter-office emails. At Germain Lexus, during the month of June, they've challenged themselves to sell more cars than they ever have in 1 month. What does that mean? Well, I'm stupid, but to me, that means they're willing to deal, baby. And the Memorial cars are on the lot. The ones the golfers drive for the tournament are now available to you. I've been a Germain customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hitting a hole in one into your ear hole. Ew. This is Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Dave Biddle in the house today for AR. Going to light up right now the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline and bring on the Dean of Ohio State recruiting over at bucknuts.com and 24/7 Sports. He is Bill Kurelic. Bill, happy Monday, my man. How are you?
Doing well, Manny. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for asking, and thanks as always for your time. We greatly appreciate that. So I know there's been a lot of activity going on over at the Woody the last few days. I know they've been hosting a lot of big-time, prospects with these camps going on and everything. I want to lead, Bill, with RJ Day and your understanding of where he's at with the recruiting process. What is he as a prospect, and how's he been looking recently spinning the rock?
Well, he was at Ohio State the last couple of weeks, various times for one-day camps, and then the team camps, the 7-on-7 team camps, and he looks good. He's spinning it well. He actually looks a lot different than, say, a year ago. He's filled out. He's bigger, stronger. He's probably 6'1", 205 pounds now, and he is looking good. He's got some really, really solid scholarship offers. For instance, Cincinnati has offered him a scholarship. Purdue has offered him a scholarship. Boston College. He's got a host of the MAC schools that have offered him a scholarship, so he's doing well. I should say Syracuse, too, has offered him a scholarship.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Bill, by the way, good to finally meet you. I was wondering if you knew this was me on the air. Yes, my guy, Bill Kurelic, the Dean of Ohio State football recruiting. Great nickname, by the way. So speaking of quarterbacks, the Buckeyes offered Luke Faley. You reported this yesterday. He was on his official visit. A low 4-star, high 3-star, depending on what you're looking at, young man out of California. Not very big, Bill, listed at 6 foot, about 180. Do you think the Buckeyes will land Luke Faley?
Well, before we answer that question, Dave, we have to give credit where credit is due. The originator of that nickname, the Dean, none other than the Dave Biddle. So that's where that came from. But as far as the quarterback that visited Ohio State this past weekend, that was Luke Faley, and he is the only quarterback that Ohio State had in for an official visit this summer. He is a 6-foot-tall, 185-pounder out of Mission Viejo, California, and really a prolific kid. He put up some outstanding numbers during his junior season. He is from a good program, the Mission Viejo program, and he's got it narrowed down to 3 schools from his list of approximately 24 scholarship offers. Ohio State, Indiana, and Stanford. He made official visits to all 3. He also made an official visit to Oklahoma State. But it is those 3, Ohio State, Indiana, Stanford. And the interesting thing is that he kind of grew up an Ohio State fan out there on the West Coast. So he was pretty excited. In fact, he told me yesterday when he got the scholarship offer just how excited he was to get that offer. He is going to kind of take a little time to think about things, probably at least a week, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even as long as 3 weeks to think about things. But, Ohio State, as he put it, it's really hard to turn a school like Ohio State down when you're a quarterback.
Bill, we had the pleasure last year of watching Jeremiah Smith, pull up on us and just absolutely ball out as a freshman and just do things that you rarely see as far as dominance week in and week out for guys that are that young. I want to ask you about, maybe a freshman or two that you look at that are already over there, that have been in the mix here for a little bit of time, that you think can be a contributor come fall. I think it's going to be a lot to ask for anybody to be the next Jeremiah Smith, but is there a freshman or two, Bill, in your mind that could be an impactful player in year one for Ryan Day?
Well, you kind of hit on that. Being the next Jeremiah Smith, I don't know that we're going to see the next Jeremiah Smith anytime real soon. I mean, as good as some of the guys Ohio State has on the roster and that Brian Hartline has brought into the program, Jeremiah Smith is just kind of in another category. But if I had to pick one right now, I would go with Quincy Porter. He's the wide receiver out of Bergen Catholic High School in Oradell, New Jersey, and he is going to be the real deal. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. So, as a freshman, which he is right now, that's kind of Jeremiah Smith type size. And, of course, all of them get a little bit bigger once they get to Ohio State. And Quincy Porter will do the same. But I think he's the guy that, if I had to pick one guy, that would be the guy to be maybe along the lines of the next Jeremiah Smith. But I will say, kind of a sleeper is a kid that I really like a lot. It's going to take him a little time. That's B.P. Miller from Ontario High School in Mansfield. He played quarterback. He's never played really wide receiver before, but that's what he is at Ohio State. So it's going to take him a little time to develop. But at 6'4", 180 pounds with a great burst and great speed, he's got a lot of potential.
Looking at defensive line recruiting, tell the fans the latest on that. I get a lot of questions about that. People are concerned about it. Should they be concerned about D-line recruiting? What's the latest for the Buckeyes on that front?
Well, right now they have a commitment from Kerry Wilder from California, and he's a good one. Ohio State really likes him a lot. That was a big deal. They got in on him late and were able to really get a commitment from him about a month after they offered him a scholarship. So that's getting in late and getting the job done. He's going to be a good one for Ohio State. But as far as rounding out the class, they would like to get 2 defensive tackles and then either 2 or 3 defensive end edge guys. As I mentioned, they've got one in Wilder. At the top of the kind of the food chain, I guess you'd say, for the remainder of the class, they would love to get Carter Meadows, who is one of the country's top edge. He's out of Washington, D.C., Gonzaga High School. He visited Ohio State last weekend, and then this past weekend visited Michigan. Penn State's also in the running. Hard to say what he's going to do right now. I absolutely am sure that Ohio State is in the running, but I wouldn't go out on a limb and predict where he's going. Jameer Perez, when you move inside to tackle, I tend to like Ohio State's chances to flip him from Florida. He is from Cleveland, Glenville, and we all know the pipeline from Glenville to Ohio State. Damari Simeon is a guy from New Jersey that made an official visit to Ohio State this past weekend. It went well, and he's a guy, obviously, to keep in mind, too. So if they could get those 3 guys to go along with Wilder, I think they would be very, very happy.
We're talking all things Buckeye recruiting with Bill Kurlick, the Dean of Ohio State Recruiting for Bucknuts.com. Bill, I want to ask you about Jeremiah Smith's brother and Angelo Smith, because we found out, I believe, last week that Ohio State has offered Angelo Smith a scholarship. What is he as a player? What position do you think will fit him best once he gets to the collegiate ranks?
Yeah, he did get an offer from Ohio State. He camped with the Buckeyes, and as the saying goes, he earned his offer. He does not get it because his last name is Smith. He had to go to camp, and he had to work hard, and he did, and he earned that offer. He is a little different than Jeremiah. Angelo is 5'10", about 175 pounds. He is from Chaminade Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida. And in addition to Ohio State, he's got an offer from Miami. That's a big one. But he's a kid that certainly Ohio State liked quite a bit. And I watched him at camp too. I was impressed with him.
I get a lot of questions as well about NIL. People are like, is Ohio State falling behind as far as NIL for recruits? And what I say is, like, listen, if they're not going to get in too many bidding wars unless they know it's an absolute stud. Like, they got in a bidding war with J.J. Smith. I was there covering that Ryan Day press conference when he buckled at the knees when somebody came and gave him the good news. Like, he was announcing the rest of the class. But they do a great job with NIL, because what do? They retain their players, guys like Caleb Downs, all those guys that came back last year, like Jack Sawyer and Tuimo Lawal and all those guys, Donovan Jackson. What do you say to fans when they're like, is Ohio State keeping up on the NIL front when it comes to recruiting?
Well, it's a little bit of a new world right now because of the House ruling and all, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. There's a lot of ways that could go right now. But I will say I think Ohio State has been able to master the portal as well or better than anyone. You mentioned, Dave, that they've done a great job of retaining their players, and the job they did was key for them to win the national championship this past season. They've also gone out and selectively brought in guys that fit needs. For instance, they really needed an edge this past transfer portal period, and they got Bo Atkinson out of North Carolina, who I think is going to be a very good player for Ohio State. They don't just go out and get guys; they go out to fill needs, and they've been able to do that. They really helped themselves on the offensive line as well. They had some needs at tackle, and they went out and got a couple of them. So, I really think they've done a great job. And as we transition into this kind of new portal period, I think they will figure it out, and they'll do a great job of that too.
Bill, we'll end on this one outside of Ohio State, but staying in the Big Ten. Who's a coach of the program right now where you're looking at what they're doing on the recruiting trail and you're liking what they're cooking up on paper?
Well, right now, Ohio State, if you look at our rankings, they are the number one school in the Big Ten, and I think they're going to finish there. Penn State is doing a good job. They're coming off a really good year. Obviously, they were in the playoffs too and did well in the playoffs. So I think that they're capitalizing on that as well. What's a little bit interesting, and Buckeye fans will be happy to hear this, is the school is not doing particularly well is Michigan. You look in our 247 Sports team recruiting rankings, and they're not in the top 25. In fact, right now, I don't believe last I checked they were in the top 50 in the country. So I think that's kind of surprising that to a lot of people that Michigan would not be doing what you kind of think of Michigan in terms of recruiting.
Yeah, it's good stuff. He's the Dean of Ohio State Recruiting over at bucknuts.com and 247 Sports. He is Bill Kurlick. Bill, we appreciate your great work and time as always, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Always enjoy being with you guys.
Appreciate it. Bill was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We will end hour number 1 on a Monday, as we always do, with Party Like a Raw Star. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Men, summertime is here. And that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Tri-State Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. And because we are so confident in the efficacy of our low T treatment protocols, for a limited time, we are offering you a free first appointment, which includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654, or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gahanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. These windows were great. Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified, plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Join the Fan and 10 TV on Friday, June 27th from 11 to 6:30 to kick off the Beat the Heat Fan Drive. Purchase box fans and drop them off at the 10 TV studios on Friday, June 27th from 11 to 6:30. The Beat the Heat Fan Drive is sponsored by Newman Roofing.
Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a Roth star.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, joined by Dave Biddle today, filling in for AR. Bids, we like to take care of our guests as well as we can on this show. Since you are our wonderful guest today, you have the honor of leading off Party Like a Roth Star on this sticky and steamy Monday. Who you rolling with, my guy?
I appreciate that, Ice Man. The first one is, early in the year I was thinking, man, is Hunter Green going to win NL Cy Young, and maybe he'll come back and still win it. Now it's like, is Andrew Abbott going to win it? Man, he's been good. So he's my first one. Is Andrew Abbott, Reds pitcher. He's been lights out. He's 7-1 now, 1.79 ERA, rocking a whip of 0.96. The lefty's getting it done. He's got a little bit of Tom Browning in him. He's not going to blow you away or anything, but Andrew Abbott's my first one. My second one, I got to give it to Shea, to SGA. I mean, for him to win his first regular season MVP and then to follow it up by being finals MVP at such a young age. Was he 26? He's an absolute, we already knew he was a superstar. He's now just stamped him as one of the top 3 players in the league at least. Well, this year, the top player in the league, but he's an absolute superstar. He's partying like a Roth star. And the last one, I'm going to go back to Reds pitchers. Chase Burns, who's the number 2 pick of the draft last year. I think they redid it. He'd probably be the number 1 pick. Just was fantastic during his 13 starts in the minors this year. Actually was a little better in the minors than Paul Skeens was the previous year, which says a lot. Doesn't mean he's going to be as good as Skeens, but Chase Burns got the call up. He's going to start against the Yankees tomorrow. As you said, Matty, it's like, oh, welcome to the big leagues, kid. You're going to try and get Aaron Judge out tonight. Good luck with that. But Chase Burns, good luck in your first start tomorrow night. But he's partying like a Roth star because he is now in the big leagues.
No, I love it. I think you cooked up a really good list. I'm excited to see, he's a flamethrower, right? You watched him in college last year. He was a Georgia Tech guy?
Wake Forest. He started at Tennessee, then went to the factory at Wake Forest. Yeah, he's got a wipeout slider, fastball that sits right around 100 miles an hour.
It's exciting. Look, us Reds fans know, the deep in the weeds stuff is because of where their baseball is played at home. It's not an attractive place for free agent pitchers. So you got to draft these guys and hope it works out well. And like you said, hey, welcome to the big leagues, kid. Here's number 99 standing in the box. Have fun with that. First candidate for me, Bids, it's got to be the Houston Rockets.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be the Houston Rockets. On the morning of Game 7 in the NBA, we find out Kevin Durant has been traded to H-Town. Going back, he is a Texas Longhorn himself. Sneaky part of this trade, one of his teammates from Texas that he played with as a Longhorn is an assistant coach for Ime Udoka. So that was kind of, some politicking, some tampering going on behind the scenes. But I think if you're Houston, what you gave up, you're okay with giving up because you still have in-house your Alperen Şengün's, your Amen Thompson, who's an absolute stud there, and some other young pieces as well with Fred VanVleet. But the big-time get is getting Kevin Durant and pairing him with a young core that is on the rise. They were a top 2-3 team in the West this year. So you got some good vibes going on for the Houston Rockets. You give up Jalen Green. You give up Dylan the Villain, a.k.a. Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in this week's NBA draft with some other second-round picks as well. But they did not get rid of their runway, I think, as far as the future outlook of the Houston Rockets goes. And I think that's an important piece. So you bring in a vet. It sounds like Bids KD is open to signing an extension down there in Houston. He's got a good relationship with Ime Udoka, their head coach, who just signed an extension in his own right the past few days. So I just think for a Western Conference that is loaded, you're a team in Houston that you know who your young pieces are, and you didn't have to give up any of them. Thompson's there. Şengün is still there. Tari Eason is still there. And so you bring in Kevin Durant, you have him show these guys the ropes. If KD is out after a couple of years, your young core is still intact. I really liked what Houston did is a win-now move without mortgaging their complete future. So Houston Rockets bids for me partying like a rock star. Second candidate for me. Byron Buxton's balling.
Yep.
Byron Buxton is one of these guys in sports that unfortunately is injured a lot. But when he is right, you're looking at an MVP caliber talent. Can he piece it together and play a whole bunch of games to be worthy of that award? We shall see. But right now, what he is doing over the last few games, you're talking 2 home runs yesterday against the Milwaukee Brewers. Last Thursday, he hit 2 home runs against our beloved Cincinnati Reds. He has 4 hits over his last 2 games. He's hitting .285 with 17 home runs, 47 RBIs. He's got stolen bases bids. He plays a premier position on defense in center field for Minnesota. So they've had this core where it's like, my goodness, if Carlos Correa could stay healthy, if Byron Buxton could stay healthy, Royce Lewis, who again is hurt, if he could stay healthy, you're talking about at least 2 of those 3 right now at their points in their career, and Lewis and Buxton, that could be MVP caliber talents. Buxton's been in the mix all year, and this is what you get when he is healthy, man. As you know, as a baseball guy, he's a stud, man. He can go.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the way he was treating our Reds, as you mentioned. He leads off. He leads off the game with a home run. It's like, geez. And then the next game he leads off with a home run, then hits another home run. It's like, come on, chill out. Yeah, but for a while, because I used to do fantasy like keeper leagues. I don't do those anymore. But Buxton was like the number 1 prospect in baseball when he was like 19 years old. Yeah. Took a while, but look at him now.
Last candidate for me. I'm going with Jay Johnson. Saying who's Jay Johnson? Jay Johnson is the head coach for LSU's baseball program. Jay Johnson arrived in Baton Rouge in 2022 and has already won 2 college national championships, 2 of the last 3. A couple years ago, that was led by Paul Skeens. In that group, Tennessee wins it last year, and just this weekend, Jay Johnson wins another national championship. They stole him away from Arizona Biz, where he was hired as the Wildcats head honcho back in 2016, went to a College World Series, and that in year number 1 for them. So this guy has the goods, and what he's going to have is not only another natty, but it looks like he's going to have potentially the number 1 overall pick again in a pitcher in Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson, pitcher for the LSU Tigers, lefty in game number 1 of the College World Series, best of 3, complete game, shutout, I believe, or something like that. Only gave up a handful of hits. But Jay Johnson is building a dynasty already in LSU. And what's fascinating about this to me is that we had news about the new NIL pot of money that these programs and universities are going to have to work with. this is going to hit different down in that part of the country for programs like an LSU because obviously it's football and basketball, but they care a lot about baseball right down there. So that $20.5 million that you have to work with for a program like LSU, I'm very interested, Biz, to see how they allocate that money and give to LSU because this guy is showing that I'm for real. We're going to continue to get high-end talent and guys that can get drafted 1 or 2 overall, which they will have again under his watch.
Yeah, I think they care as much about college baseball, almost as much as college basketball. I'd put it almost equal, but I put college basketball, like you're saying, I put a little head as far as how the SEC views it. But yeah, man, they love their college baseball. And that's why they're, guys are getting paid big money. It's not even just baseball. Like softball, you had the Texas Tech pitcher that they poached from Stanford, gave her $1 million. Hey, it worked. You got all the way to the finals. But maybe did they win it? I can't remember if Texas Tech won it, but I know they got to the finals. But yeah, it's crazy how much they value baseball down there.
The Jacksonville Jaguars value Travis Hunter. They signed him to his rookie deal over the weekend. We will talk about that. And also, when it comes to Travis Hunter, which is the better bet? To bet on him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year? We'll talk about it after the break. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Check it. Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double. Check it. Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly.
Check it.
Get ready to rock. Soft, that is. Nationwide Picnic with the Pops presents Yacht Rock Symphony, Saturday, June 28th, featuring all your favorite 70s and 80s super yacht rock hits on one stage with Ambrosia.
You're the biggest part of me.
Joined by John Ford Coley.
And I'd really love to see it tonight.
And Peter Beckett, the voice of Player. Don't miss this incredible night of hits, ending with a brilliant display of fireworks. June 28th at the Columbus Commons. For tickets, visit picnicwiththepops.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
Open a money market account at Kemba Financial Credit Union and enjoy a 4.00% APY intro rate until April 2026, 6 times the national average. Maintain easy access to your funds and secure financial stability. Don't miss out. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum and $1 million maximum deposit required. APY equals annual percentage yield. Comparison based on FDIC average. Federally insured by NCUA.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text HOT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HOT to 42424. That's HOT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. After a quick trip to St. Louis, the Cincinnati Reds return home to start a series with the New York Yankees at 7:10 this evening. Nick Lodolo makes the start for Cincinnati opposite Alan Winans for New York. Pre-game coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:40. We'll join it in progress here on The Fan at 8. Off days for both the Guardians and the Clippers. Cleveland returns home to face the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow. Columbus heads to Iowa to face the Cubs. The NHL draft this Friday and Saturday. We have our first draft week trade. The Anaheim Ducks sending forward Trevor Zegras to the Philadelphia Flyers for forward Ryan Poehling, a second-round pick in this year's draft, and a fourth-rounder next year. This one's sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online, sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Finding the sweet spot between the over and the under. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Dave Biddle in the house today for our guy AR. Hope you guys are staying as cool as you possibly can. Stay hydrated, drink some water, Gatorade, all that good stuff for the next few days, honestly. 97.1 The Fan is asking Central Ohioans to step up and help their neighbors stay cool this summer with the Beat the Heat Fan Drive in partnership with 10 TV and Life Care Alliance. Many of Life Care's clients cannot afford air conditioning, and they have medical conditions that are exacerbated by extremely warm temperatures. Join us for a live broadcast of Rothman and Ice on Friday, June 27th at the fire station in Westerville at 400 West Main Street as we kick off the 2025 Beat the Heat Fan Drive. Bring a new box fan and help someone in need. The first 100 people who drop off a fan will receive a pair of tickets to the Cardale Jones softball game at Huntington Park on July 19th. We'll see you on Friday. For more information, visit 971thefan.com. Again, that's 971thefan.com. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk all things NBA with Keith Smith from Spotrac, and I believe the front office show does a tremendous job covering the association. So we'll look back a little bit to the finals, look ahead a little bit specifically to what's next with the Cavs, with all these injuries and stuff, and how that's going to impact the Eastern Conference Finals. Before we look ahead to this year's NFL season bids, I want to get your take because you and I haven't done many shows like we used to. You and I used to do the fantasy football show every Sunday here on The Fan, which was awesome. I miss doing that with you. But I haven't talked to you much about post-draft, post-free agency, just turning the page into a new NFL season. On draft day, got that surprise trade between the Brownies and the Jacksonville Jaguars, where the Browns traded the number 2 overall pick along with a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick to Jacksonville. In return, the Brownies got that 5th overall pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 2026 1st-round pick, which is the big one there for Cleveland. Were you good with that draft day trade with Cleveland and Jacksonville doing business?
If I was a Cleveland Browns fan, I would have liked that trade because of that 2026 first-rounder could be a high first-rounder unless you think the Jags are going to be really good. Now, the Jags are banking on that they are going to be good. Maybe not Super Bowl good, but playoff good. Browns are hoping that's more of like a top 5 pick. So we'll have to see how it pans out. But I like it. And I think Mason Graham, I know we're sitting here in Columbus, Ohio. I know we like Ohio State, but dude, Mason Graham is awesome. So you get the extra first-round pick and the other picks, and you still get Mason Graham. And who knows? Maybe we're going to look back on it and say, like, I've heard people say they passed on Ohtani, the football version of Shohei Ohtani. We'll see if Travis Hunter is on that level. If he is, we'll be like, okay, I'll be eating all the words I'm saying right now. But as it stands, I think the Browns made a good trade.
Going into the draft, I was like, okay, this is a franchise that needs help on offense right now. Bottom of the league in points per game a year ago. Obviously, the quarterback situation, the inconsistencies at the quarterback position had a lot to do with why they weren't very good, right? If you're any team in the league and you have mediocre to bad quarterback play, nobody's going to take you serious. You're not going to be in the mix for anything competitive. So that was a big one there. But outside of, the Jerry Judys and the Njokus and those couple guys, there weren't a lot of guys that you were week in and week out sitting there and watching. It's a real playmaker that they can build around for years to come. So I looked at Travis Hunter and I saw, and we all saw how good he was at receiver a year ago. Because I still don't think it was talked about enough. I think when the conversation comes up about Travis Hunter, it's the both sides of the ball thing, which was real. But when you really zoom out from that and look at what he did on offense in being tied with Jeremiah Smith for the 2nd most receiving touchdowns in the country and being top 5 in receiving yards right behind Jeremiah Smith, like this dude is legit. And so when they acquired that extra first-round pick, that being the Browns from Jacksonville, I was like, okay, I got it. I understand what they're looking at in the future, and that is at some point in time, either in this year's draft or next year's draft, finding our quarterback of the future. That is always the most important thing to figure out. The vision I think that they would talk us into, Bids, is we have arguably the best defensive lineman in the sport. Now we're going to draft a guy that is going to garner some attention week in and week out in the middle of our defensive line and help out our franchise player on defense in Myles Garrett. I think that's what they're looking at. The game is one in the trenches, as we know. So I'm okay with it because I've seen with my own eyes, as you were alluding to, how dominant Mason Graham can be. And I think when you pair him with Myles Garrett, there's something there. So Travis Hunter, he's out of the mix, obviously, for the Brownies. But for Jacksonville, he is there now, and he is their future. This weekend, we find out he signs a 4-year deal worth a fully guaranteed deal, up to $46.5 million. He got $30.5 million of that money as a signing bonus. Going to be fun to see how they use him. Bids, I don't believe what we saw from Travis Hunter, meaning the high-end snap count percentage on both sides of the ball, will remain in the NFL. I think everything should be about, in every building of an NFL franchise, what can we do to support our franchise quarterback? And I think for the Jacksonville Jaguars, that is going to be having Travis Hunter paired with Brian Thomas Jr. more times than not. Hey, Trav, we need you on a 3rd and long. Passing down situations, come out here and give us some reps at corner. But I really think that with Brian Thomas Jr. in-house, pairing him with Travis Hunter, this is about making Trevor Lawrence as confident and good as he can possibly be, because it's time for Trevor Lawrence to go.
Yeah, and another thing that was impressive about his receiving stats, and just, beyond the stats, just watch the film, is like he never left the field. So like imagine how good he would have been a receiver if he was like rested a little bit. He never left the field. It was like Chris Gamble at Ohio State in 2002, just never left the field, returned kicks, played corner, played wide receiver. You're right. There's no way he's going to do that in the NFL. And I agree. I think wide receiver is where he's going to be the most. And you can still sprinkle him in, as you're saying, Maddie, as a corner if need be. But I think his main position is going to be wide receiver. And the good news is, if you make the decision now, it doesn't mean you can't go back on it. If you decide we have more of a need at corner next year, even later this year, or it turns out we think he's actually better at corner than wide receiver. I'm with you. I think he's probably better at wide receiver. And I mean, the game is so tilted to the offense now anyway, and you want to support your quarterback who you paid Trevor Lawrence like he's Joe Burrow. He got the exact same contract as Joe Burrow, so we'll see what happens. But I'm with you, especially Brian Thomas. That was a great pick. He had a great rookie year for them, and despite getting him, late in the first round, early second? I think it was late first round, somewhere around 28th or something like that. So, yeah, you get Brian Thomas out there, and then defenses can't double up Travis Hunter, so that's going to make him even more dangerous. So I'm with you, man. I think he's going to play a lot of wide receiver, and maybe they'll sprinkle him in as a DB. But I think he'll return either kicks or punts, although they've tried to take the kickoff away as much as possible, but we'll see what happens.
We'll get a good look at Travis Hunter and the Jags, week 2 right here in Ohio taking on your Cincinnati Bengals, and I can't wait to see obviously what Trav looks like, but more importantly, that Bengals defense and where we're at, because that is, as you know, and this is your squad, that's the missing piece. That's the missing ingredient. The meals come out of the kitchen and it's tasted good, but it's like, hey, it just needs a little hint of salt, something to really put it over the top. And that is that defense. So Travis Hunter with Brian Thomas coming into the Natty, getting after a Cincinnati Bengals defense with a new defensive coordinator and Al Golden. And what is the defensive line going to look like? Shamar Stewart, Trey Hendrickson.
At least they're not ticking off any of their defensive ends, right? At least they're very, very player friendly down there. Listen, if you're a quarterback and a wide receiver, they'll take care of you. The Brown family will take care of you. You play any other position, good luck.
It's tough sled, man. It is tough sledding. When I was off the day, Shamar Stewart was like, this dude left the building? Like, he left, and I get it. The frustration level has to be at an all-time high when you're a guy that's looking around and saying, wait, you guys have never done this before.
You want me to be the guinea pig?
I'm the guinea pig.
My agent saying don't do it. And then I talked to the guys in the locker room. He didn't say specifically who. He said the superstars in the locker room are telling me that I'm right. Yeah, I see both sides on that. I see people are saying, well, he shouldn't have reacted the way he did. How many times do you know you're right at work, but you don't go and yell at work, I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah. I get it. But I also get it from his perspective, too, because you're going to make me the guinea pig. I don't want to be the guinea pig. And the Bengals do not get the benefit of the doubt. If this was the Ravens, I'm not just saying that because you're here. Once again, they signed Alexander, a guy I think the Bengals should have tried to get. The Ravens keep doing smart things. Derrick Henry last year, they get him for basically nothing. If this was the Ravens, I might give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, Bengals cannot get the benefit of the doubt. They just do stupid stuff all the time. They have the reputation of being cheap. How long did it take them to get an indoor facility? Forever. They were going to Mason and some indoor soccer facility for a while. Then finally UC got one before they did. So they're going to the University of Cincinnati. And finally now they have an indoor facility.
And it's still got dudes crossing the street to get to practice. Cincinnati still got dudes crossing the street to get to practice. But that defensive line situation needs to get figured out so quickly, because it pairs with what you do so well on offense. And what you do on offense is you rip people's souls out with your passing attack. And what that needs to be paired with is a defensive line that can get home and create pressure late in games when you're chasing Joey B in that offense, because that's what we know is their bread and butter, is that, look, we got 9, 1, and 5. Good luck slowing us down week in and week out. And so when you're going into, I think the vision is, hey, we're going into these late third quarters and fourth quarters and we're up 24-17, 21-10. We need a defensive line that can hunt down a team that we know has to pass to try to get back in the game. And so that's why I just think that's such a big deal, that not only they get Trey back in the building and figured out that money quickly, but you get Osai, you get Murphy, you get Stewart, somebody, 2 of those 3 guys to be reliable defensive pass rushers week in and week out. Because if they get that, this is going to be a scary team, because the guy that's leading the charge in Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and, Miles Murphy looks like a complete bust. First-round pick. That was, he's now entering his 3rd year. It really feels like now or never. He's done nothing through his first 2 years. And I was not a big fan of the Stewart pick. Was not very productive at A&M. Now, he, I think, will be better than Miles Murphy, but that's a very low bar. Yeah. Presuming he actually joins the team at some point.
Let's go to some. Yeah, right. You just never know, because the reputation of this team is not good when it comes to these specific things outside of a couple one-offs, as you mentioned, with the quarterback and the wide receivers. Let's go back to Travis Hunter, because I want to get your field bids on offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, maybe a guy or two that you like that could be in the mix that could maybe potentially steal that away from him or Cam Ward. We'll do that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And bet and reduce juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well-qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So, picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers.
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for today. On your Monday, we're tracking plenty of sunshine, another hot one. Highs around 96 this afternoon, but with that humidity, it's going to be feeling like it's over 100 here through the afternoon. So stay cool and stay hydrated here today, but also for the next several days. Tracking a high near 97 here for Tuesday, 94 on Wednesday, and staying into the 90s for the rest of the week, but also looking at chances for showers and storms by Thursday and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1, The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
There's nothing like ripping off your pants and enjoying some lobster bisque. This is Rothman and Ice.
Too hot for soup today. Shout out to Panama Ted. Too hot. No, I don't need any soup today. Dave Biddle in the house today filling in for AR. Bottom of the hour. Talk all things NBA. Keith Smith, Spotrac front office show, will join us to talk about the NBA Finals, what's next for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The NBA draft is this week, and this is supposed to be a special NBA draft being led by Cooper Flagg, so a lot to unpack with him. Shams Charania of Bids in the last 5 to 10 minutes tweeted this out. Indiana Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton sustained a torn right Achilles tendon in Game 7 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So kind of what we knew is now official. I mean, the heartbreak on his face, the immediate heartbreak on his face was tough to watch. It brought him to tears, and you can understand why. I'm sure it was painful, but also the emotion there too. And it was funny because when that happened, it felt to me, and I'll never be able to really fully stamp this, that it affected Oklahoma City more than it did Indiana in an odd way. Because the Pacers went into halftime with the lead. Like they kept swinging, and TJ McConnell tries to do everything he can in the third quarter to keep them alive, and then all the turnovers happened. That was all she wrote. But yeah, just heartbreaking stuff for Indy, because now this is not only an immediate L, but this is a all of next year loss for them without their star player being around.
Yeah, I was thinking there for a while. Here they go again, even without Halliburton. They're going to rally behind him. You're right. It did feel like that. Like it just inspired Indiana. Like, okay, our superstar, or at least one of our superstars is down. Let's win this for him. And you have some guys like McConnell and Matherin that did a good job coming off the bench. At different parts of the series, and Matherin had a huge game. McConnell had a huge game. Yeah. But it just wasn't enough, man. You have the MVP of both the regular season and the playoffs out there, the NBA Finals at least. It's going to be tough to win without Halliburton, but it looked like for a while that the Pacers might pull it out, especially when you have like Rick Carlisle out there, a future Hall of Fame head coach. I was thinking, okay, maybe they can get this done. But credit to the Thunder, man. I mean, they had a wonderful season. Would they win a total of, like, including the playoffs, I think they won 84 games or something like that, or 86 games total. So great season for them.
We were talking in our previous segment about Travis Hunter and him signing his rookie deal, and you touched on, hey, could this be the Shohei Ohtani of football? And that's in play. And in a few years, we could be talking about potentially one of the more fascinating contract negotiations between a football player and a franchise if he does continue what we've seen him do at the college level. Because the wide receiver money in the NFL is absolutely bonkers. The corner money in the NFL is growing and growing and growing because they have to match, obviously, the wide receiver money, because the guys that are getting paid to catch the rock, we need to pay guys to slow down those guys that are catching those rocks. So that's going to be fun, right? Because we could be talking about one of the more lucrative NFL deals of all time if he does play cornerback 1 reps a ton and wide receiver, let's say 1B reps a lot because of Brian Thomas. That could be a fun one in a few years, Bits.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can pull that off, because I think you and I are in agreement that, like, we think he's going to play 1 and play it a lot and then sprinkle it in on the other side. I think you and I both think it's going to be wide receiver. And maybe they'll use him here and there at corner. If they use him at corner, he's going to be a corner, and maybe they'll sprinkle him in at wide receiver. But Chris Gamble, I always compare him to Chris Gamble. I don't think that comparison gets made enough. Chris didn't even play any wide receiver in the NFL. He was just a corner and ended up being an all-pro corner, signed a big second contract. Travis wants to do both. It's going to be interesting to see how much the Jags let him do, especially in a violent sport like this. I mean, he got banged up. He stayed pretty healthy this past year. But the previous year at Colorado, he got pretty banged up. He got pretty banged up, and you can see why. I mean, he plays I love the way he plays out there. He plays fearless. He's not even that big of a guy, but he's so fast and he's strong. I hope he's able to play both ways. I just don't think in the NFL that's feasible.
And I don't think they need it. I don't think that they need it. And life's different when Jonathan Taylor's coming around the edge twice a year. When Saquon Barkley and it's different, right? The level up is no doubt pretty drastic there for anybody coming out of college, but especially a guy like Travis Hunter, where you're asking him to play both sides of the ball. Over at Bet365 right now, to win either the Offensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year bids, the juice on that is plus 375. Which I actually like, because you're getting, right, 2 swings for 1.
I like that too. Yeah, I was going to say, it's nice you don't have to pick one or the other.
Right.
Yeah, so I kind of like that.
I think, though, for my money, it would be worth finding an offensive rookie of the year guy outside of Travis Hunter, because I think his odds are really good. Plus 750 to win offensive rookie of the year. I like that because I think there's a world this year where he could stumble into 90 to 100-ish targets, and I think he's going to do a lot of damage with that based off of the attention that Brian Thomas Jr. will get, as at least right now they're on paper number 1 based off what he did a year ago. Your leader in the clubhouse is Ashton Genty at plus 275. Actually, there's 2 leaders in the clubhouse. So first on the board at Bet365, plus 275 is Ashton Genty and Cam Ward. The second best odds for offensive rookie of the year is Travis Hunter at plus 750. Your thoughts on that real quick, Bids?
Makes sense, because I was going to say, like, Genty would have been my pick. I didn't realize he was, like, that much of a favorite compared to Travis Hunter. Plus 225 for Genty. It makes sense, though, man. They used the number 6 overall pick on him, right? I mean, you're not going to take a running back that high unless you're planning on using him a ton. And we know Chip Kelly can be creative with running backs. So, it makes sense to me. Cam Ward, I'll be very surprised if he wins. And I know it's, a lot of times it goes to a quarterback, but I don't know, man. I mean, he was the number 1 pick, but, he typically would not have been a number 1 pick if it wasn't a weak year of quarterback. So Genty's the one I'm keeping an eye on. Don't sleep on Emeka Egbuka. I think he's going to have a big rookie year. And then McMillan from Carolina is another one. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Genty's definitely one that I'd keep an eye on. The other one that's kind of maybe a dark horse is Amarian Hampton, because the Chargers took him in the first round. We know Harbaugh likes to run the ball. They don't have J.K. Dobbins any longer. So not only do you take a running back in the first round, he's going to step right in there and start. So Hampton would be a long shot that I would take a look at.
The running back market when it comes to offensive rookie of the year is fun, because Amarian Hampton, as you mentioned, he's 14-1, and then he is followed by a couple former Buckeyes. You can get Quinshon Judkins at 16-1 and Travion Henderson at 20-1. And so those 3 running backs, it's fun because Genty is going to have the no doubt bell cow work on his plate week in and week out. I think for the other 3, of those 3, Quinshon, to me, I like his path. It's fairly clean for me. Like, I think Dylan Sampson's going to come in. He'll catch some passes for them. I don't think he'll be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, especially down in the red zone. With Travion Henderson, you still have Ramondre Stevenson lurking in the weeds, but clearly they felt like they needed more. So they go out and spend a second-round pick on Travion, the opportunity. But Quinshon, for me, I think can get the touchdowns, which I think is going to be an important part of this. So of the running backs outside of Genty, because that value is still pretty good at plus 275 right now, Bids, I really like Quinshon at 16-1.
I like that too, and I think that was a really good pick by the Browns. Well, second pick of the second round, I think that was a really good pick. And like a lot of people had, and you really couldn't go wrong either way. I like a lot of people had Trey going ahead of Q. The one thing I would say is Trey's more explosive and he's great in pass pro, but Quinshon's he's a 3-down back. He's more physical. I think he's going to hold up better in the NFL. Thank goodness for the Buckeyes. Travion stayed healthy his entire senior year. Previous to that, he had durability issues, and that's not going to get better in the NFL, you wouldn't think. So hopefully Trey's able to stay, and it was never anything too serious, but had some durability issues. Quinshon carried the ball a ton at Ole Miss, never had any durability issues, never had any durability issues at Ohio State. So I think that was a really safe, relatively speaking, when you're talking about a running back, relatively safe pick by the Browns. I think a really good one. I think Quinshon's going to be a really good. I don't know if he'll be a star, Maddie, but I think he'll be at the very least a really good NFL running back if he stays healthy.
And Quinshon feels like an AFC North running back.
Yes, he does.
Whether it was the Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Ravens, you get him in any one of those helmets, and he just fits the energy and the vibe of what that division is, especially when we're talking about late November, December, and hopefully January football for those teams in that division. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I think the running back class has a chance to be really strong between Genty, Hampton, Henderson, and Judkins. I think those guys are going to hold it down and do some really good things for their respective teams. When we come back, Keith Smith, Spotrac front office show, does everything as far as the NBA goes. He will join us in 2 minutes to talk about the NBA Finals, the ripple effects of the Tyrese Halliburton injury, and the NBA draft that's coming up here in a couple days. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
For over 20 years, Purple Wave Auction has been the trusted leader in online auctions, offering the easiest way to buy and sell equipment. From bulldozers to backhoes and combines to cranes, we host multiple weekly auctions in construction, ag, and fleet equipment. With our no reserve format and sell where it sits approach, you can bid on local equipment without waiting for far-off auction dates. Get registered for free and start bidding today at purplewave.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Master Grillers Unite.
The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated.
Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fascinating, informative, covered in dog slobber. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Welcome back in. Matty Ice, Dave Biddle in the house today, filling in for our guy, AR. Going to light up right now the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on one of our favorites. Keith Smith does an awesome job covering the NBA for Spotrac and the Front Office Show, so make sure you are checking that out. Keith, how you feeling, my man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we love having you, man. Really appreciate your time. I want to start with this from a Cavs perspective going into next season because, Keith, we were talking earlier, you look around, if you're, Kobe Altman and the gang up there in the land, you're saying, okay, Jason Tatum, the Celtics, what does that look like? Now Tyrese Halliburton, look, he's going to be out of the mix for next year. The core seems like it's set. Keith, give me the outlook now for Cleveland with some of these star players around the Eastern Conference not looking like they're going to be available for a large amount of next year, if not the entire season.
Yeah, and this was my take with the Cavs before the injuries to Halliburton, or the injury to Halliburton at least, was that, don't overdo it, right? We don't need to get crazy here. You were right there. You had injuries of your own that knocked you out of the playoffs, but you're right there. This, I think, now only further. If you're the Cavs, you're looking around and you're probably kind of like, it's us or the Knicks, and the Magic will be okay. A couple other teams will be okay, but we've got to feel pretty good about where we're at without making major changes to the roster. So I would not get crazy here. Certainly would not be looking to trade any of the core guys or anything like that.
Yeah, they're pretty much up against the cap. Is that correct, Keith?
Yeah, they're way over the cap. They are pushing being a second apron team now with all these guys under contract, because it's important to remember Mobley's contract extension kicks in this summer, and it jumped by $8 million almost when he won Defensive Player of the Year. Donovan Mitchell's contract goes way up. So they are way up there in terms of the most expensive teams. All the things you've been hearing about Boston, Phoenix, Minnesota over the last year or so, these are now coming home for the Cavs as well.
Keith, I want to hit you up about this Kevin Durant trade to Houston, because when I look at the return for Phoenix, my mind always comes back to Houston did an amazing job with this thing. I know the draft capital, that is what it is, and that's pretty significant. But I'm thinking about like the talent now that's still there in Houston. It just feels like Houston got over on the Suns in this. Am I looking at it the right way?
No, I think there's something to what you're saying. I think the 10th pick in the draft certainly has value, but it didn't have a ton of value to Houston. The 3rd pick in the draft last year, Reed Shepherd, couldn't even crack their rotation. He barely played any minutes for them throughout the course of his rookie season. Now that'll be more going forward. I think they're going to look for more out of him, but this is not a team that is set up. Ime Udoka doesn't necessarily want to play a lot of rookies. He wants to go with veteran guys and guys that he trusts a little bit more. So that's one thing. And then Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, that's 2 starters. But Jalen Green is the guy who, when I wrote about this trade yesterday, he can look like an all-star one night and then look like a bench warmer the next. Like, he's just so inconsistent. He's still all over the place, doesn't shoot it really well. There's a lot of potential there, but so much of it is still untapped. And then Dylan Brooks, nice player, but Kevin Durant's a major upgrade over Dylan Brooks. Let's see what they do to round out the rest of their roster. But this team looks pretty good, as set going into next season with Kevin Durant joining the guys who are still on the roster there in Houston.
The NBA draft is coming up on Wednesday. I'm going to be here before we know it. Other than Cooper Flagg, just kind of go over this draft for me. Like, is this a strong draft, a weak draft, somewhere in between?
A little bit of an eye of the beholder here. It looked stronger earlier on in the draft process, and then some of the guys that we thought they were going to really kind of step up didn't necessarily take the major moves forward that we thought. We also had a lot of withdrawals from this draft, and that's something I think we're going to see continue now, because I think a lot of guys, if they're fringe first-rounders or they're second-round picks, they're going to say, I'll go back to school and make $3 to $5 million in NIL money, and then I'll come out a year later, even maybe in a better position. So we're in this draft. You got Flagg at the top. Dylan Harper's the clear number 2. And then it really starts at number 3, VJ Edgecombe, Ace Bailey. You've got Con Knipples in that group. Come on, Mawatch. Some teams really like Trey Johnson. There's another guy, Kasparis Yakushonis, Igor Demin. I mean, I could rattle off another 7, 8 names that are really between 3 and probably 12. Are a lot of, what does your team need? What do you value in players? And that makes it, in a lot of ways, a lot more interesting, because you don't go in with, all right, we know chalk 1 through 5 or anything like that. And that also opens up a lot of trade opportunities for teams.
We're talking all things National Basketball Association with Keith Smith from the Front Office Show. Keith, let's talk about the champs, because what they've accomplished is really cool to see. And I know we've had you on a couple times, and you laid out how they got to this point and how they built it. Keith, they just won a title, as you know, and they have so much wiggle room with draft capital yet left on the table and all of those things. The future now for the Oklahoma City Thunder, talk about that from the GM's vantage point, Sam Presti, and what he has at his fingertips if he needs to make a move or 2 or, heck, maybe even 3 down the road.
Yeah, they are really set up nicely. And I know a lot of people feel like, they're going to get really expensive, and they will, but that's still a couple years off. This coming season, Holmgren and Jalen Williams are still on their rookie scale deals. So you've got 1 more year, cheap production out of them before their extensions will kick in. You get into a guy like SGA, you've got a couple more years before an extension will kick in for him as well, which will be even more money than what he makes now. So they're really set up nicely. Like you mentioned, they have all kinds of draft picks, which allows them, when they do start to get to that point of, we've got 3 guys maybe on max contracts and we're starting to push deeper into the tax, what they might be able to do then is say, all right, we can cycle out a couple of these guys because we've got the replacements coming in through the draft. So they're set up to really sustain this. Nothing is, ordained. We don't know. We don't know where this will go for the Thunder. We all, a couple of years ago thought Denver was set up to be a 2 or 3-time champion. Last year was Boston. Neither one of those teams got back. But, we'll see with the Thunder where they go, because it is set up for this to be a good long run.
Who are some of the top unrestricted free agents you're going to be keeping a close eye on, Keith?
Yeah, there's not many. It's a pretty rough free agent class this year because the guys we're looking at the top, like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, everybody thinks they're just heading back to their team. So you're getting down into the higher end role player type guys. So it's guys like Brooke Lopez, maybe Chris Middleton if he opts out, but that doesn't seem very likely to happen either. The way things are really going to get made, they're done this summer, are going to be via trade. We've already seen Desmond Bain get traded to the Magic. Now we've seen Kevin Durant get traded to the Rockets. Those are just the first two of what I think are going to be a lot of trades that teams make as they kind of go for it. One, like I said, that free agent class is pretty poor. There's not a lot of cap space out there. It's the Brooklyn Nets, and that's pretty much it. And then the other piece is the league feels pretty open. The Thunder are very good, but I don't think anybody thinks that they're completely unbeatable. This is not like Warriors and Cavs, where for 4 years in a row we just kind of wrote it in pen and said, there it is, there's the finals. This feels pretty open, and a lot of teams are going to gear up to go for it via trade.
Keith, we'll get you out of here on this one. You touched on LeBron and him coming back to the Lakers. They've got Luka and House, and J.J. Redick, I know, impressed some people with what he did as a first-time head coach in the NBA. But big news coming out of L.A. when it comes to now ownership and an ownership change. Talk about that and what you think that means for the Lakers moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can go to. For the Lakers themselves, a lot of people are equating this because Mark Walter also owns the Los Angeles Dodgers to, well, that's it. They're just going to outspend everybody. But the NBA has mechanisms to keep that from happening. But if we go back about 5 years or so ago, they lost Alex Caruso because they just simply didn't want to pay the tax to keep him. That won't happen again. If they've got a player and it's just going to mean a tax bill, they're going to write that check and keep that guy around. Off the court, this is huge for the Lakers. They have one of the smallest front office staffs in the entire NBA. They don't spend a ton on scouting and on those things. Those staffs will all beef up. Mark Walter won't spare any expenses to get those guys. He'll also likely improve the facilities and the which are going to be big because this is all stuff that matters to players quite a bit. And then for the league as a whole, this is huge because this is now a fourth straight sale. If you go back to the Lakers, the Celtics, the Suns, the Mavericks, even the Hornets, that went for more than what people thought the franchises were going to go for. So when they go into expansion talks, they're going to be telling expansion teams, we need $6 or $7 billion for you to buy in. Yeah, the franchise value might be $4 billion for you, but you got to also pay the rest of the owners to divvy up the pie by 2 more slots. So this is great for the league. This says the NBA is in a strong position, and that a lot of people are looking to get in, and that's fantastic for the league as a whole.
Seattle going to get a team? Is that coming back, Keith? We get Supersonics coming back?
Seattle and Las Vegas. Okay. I think those are going to be the two destinations. But I think what the league's going to do when they really do open up this expansion process, they're going to listen to bids from 7, 8, 9, 10 cities. And what they're going to do is they're going to put a couple others in their back pocket. I would not be surprised if the NBA is the first league of the major sports leagues to jump to 34 teams here, because I think they're going to have a couple other markets emerge that are like, hey, we're willing to go. But Seattle and Las Vegas has been kind of the worst kept secret out there, that they really kind of need to blow it if they're not going to get teams, because that's how much everybody expects it to be them.
Going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. He's Keith Smith, does an awesome job covering the NBA over at Spotrac, and check out his work at the Front Office Show as well. Keith, great job covering the league this season as always, man. Enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. Keith was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Vegas going to get everything here soon. Hockey's already out there. Football's already out there. Baseball's on the way. NBA team's going to be on the way too.
Used to be taboo not that long ago. Now everybody's like, let's just do the sports betting. Who cares?
No doubt. Ryan Day, he got an extension this off season. How does Jim Tressel feel about it? You will hear that coming up in the Buckeye Bulletin. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan. Get Eco.
Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay Eco to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your AC system is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY. Then when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Morning Juice is live on YouTube. Weekday mornings starting at 6. Or on demand whenever you want it. Yeah, whenever. Bobby Carpenter's at your beck and call. And Tito's there too, you know, to clean the toilets. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Why would we trade our best player?
Well, at least you got to watch him in person when he was here.
I named my only son after him.
So you'll always remember his name.
Yeah, but what do I do with this jersey?
Luckily, the company has a great return policy.
I wore it for 6 seasons.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck. And she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes. But when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, let's knock out a Buckeye Bulletin. Dave Biddle in the house today for AR. You know, there's certain things that just get burned into my brain, and they're just random things that just stick with me for a long time. One of those things, Bids, was a video that I believe was posted by Ohio State or the Ohio State football Twitter page or whatever years ago. And it was when Urban Meyer was with Coach Day and he handed him the controller, the video game controller, essentially saying, you know, it's your time. It's your time. You're on the sticks to control this thing. And when you go from a legendary anything, legendary coach, legendary player, life after that, it's uncertain in the immediate because you just don't know what you're going to get. Obviously, Urban believed in Coach Day. He knew what we were going to get. You were around the program at the time. I'm sure you had heard something like, hey, this Ryan Day guy, he's got the goods. And then you get into this thing, and the recruiting still popping off at a high level. The overall win percentage is very strong. You're getting into the playoff. You're playing in those significant games, and you're like, okay, they got it right. But at a program like this, Bids, you know what it takes to really stamp you being a legendary name that lives on for years and years. And it's what Coach Day just did this past year by winning the national championship. And so you win that, and you get rewarded with a contract extension that bids, was it $12 million, 12 and a half, somewhere in that window for Coach Day, one of the highly respected and highest paid coaches in the league, as he should be at this point in time. And so how everything kind of just came full circle was, I think, cool to see, because players have their own stories of how they can get to the mountaintop, but coaches do too. And for Coach Day, he had to take it on the chin with the Michigan stuff, but then he rallied his players and owned what he felt like in his mind, hey, I can do better as a coach. And I just think it's fun to see a guy like Ryan Day get what I think he deserves, still work to do, but what he did last year was awesome, man. It was cool, and I think for a guy that I've never met him, talked to him, he came on our show last year, did an interview, it was great, but he seems like a good dude, man, and those are the people you want to root for.
Absolutely. I was just about to say that. Like, you'd feel good for Buckeye Nation. You'd feel good for the team if, like, they won a national championship, period. Even if the coach was a little bit of a jerk, right? Ryan Day is, like, a good guy. Like, seriously, like a good man. I feel very good for him. He handled that like a champ. You know, when he was knocked down, people are calling for his job. And then he gets up off the mat along with his players and goes on a 4-game stretch that we've never seen before. Something about when they expand the playoffs, Maddie. When they went to 2 to 4, Ohio State won. Then they go from 4 to 14 or to 12. No, Ohio State won again. You know they're going to be moving to 16 in a couple years. That's not official yet, but it's pretty much official. They're saying 14 or 16. 100% that's going to be 16 because money talks.
That's what this is all about. It's always been about that and always will be about that. These universities, these conferences, these TV networks are saying, we can all do business together and make a boatload of money. A guy that's making good money is going to be Coach Day for years to come. One guy that knows what it takes to win at the highest level at this program is Jim Tressel. He joined Scotty Vegas and our guy AR Friday. And here's Tress on the Ryan Day extension.
I'm not surprised he got extended. I would, if someone asked me my opinion, I would have said, absolutely, you extend him. One of the great young coaches, in the country, and I think in this day and age, I think you have to be really careful about when you change your coaching staff, because you can get a lot of exodus of players. It might take a little bit longer to get your own culture.
We were talking earlier, Bids, about what's next for the football program and what it looks like with the players. Now they're going to have to really step up. Tress is talking about change right there. Change again for Coach Day and his staff. 2 new coordinators. And so that not only is it the re-recruiting of my guys, figuring out what we're doing at quarterback, but making sure my coordinators have things in order. A lot of moving pieces for Coach Day this offseason, Bids.
And it seems like he's taken a giant page out of Nick Saban's book. Good book to steal from, the GOATs. Because what did he do last year? Even though Saban was a defensive coach, Ryan was an offensive coach. But at some point in Alabama, Saban gave up defensive play calling, went to a CEO role, worked out pretty well. Ryan, I never thought Ryan would give up offensive play calling. He gave it up, worked out pretty well. He's a CEO. What else is he doing? It's like coach rehab. Look at what Saban did with some of these guys that came through as like analysts, like Bill O'Brien, Sark, Lane Kiffin, on and on and on. These guys aren't necessarily like analysts. What's Coach Day doing now? He's bringing in Chip Kelly. Then he brings in Matt Patricia. He's bringing in a bunch of guys as analysts. They've got like 4 offensive line coaches. They have their regular offensive line coach, Tyler Bowen, who was the offensive coordinator at Virginia Tech last year. And then they've got 3 analysts that are working with the O-line too. Coach Day used to be a too many cooks in the kitchen guy. He didn't want too many analysts. He's gone the other way. He's taken it. That's another page he's taken out of Saban's book. Saban used to have like buku analysts on that staff. So he's taken a lot of pages out of Nick Saban's book, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, you touched on Matt Patricia and just the defense. there's always, to me, Bids, a learning curve that has to happen on the fly, like in games. Like, you can do it in practice, right? Where we're going up against the same guys every day, and we know the offense, and we know, hey, I know this is how Cardell likes to run this route every single time, right? Like, those things I think can infuse confidence into a defense. I'm not saying it's totally fake, but it's not as real as, oh, on the fly, this is, Arch Manning and the gang doing this in the second quarter versus what they were doing in the first quarter, whatever. That defense and how quickly that comes together this year is going to be must-see TV. I know we had you on the program a few days ago, and you touched on that D-line. Like, the D-line. We're going to have dudes really getting home consistently. I know they brought in some guys in the transfer portal and all of that, but that was a dominant unit down the stretch and for the most part of last year. And so I can't wait to see what that looks like, because offensively, I got a pretty good feel what that's going to look like. Defensively, I don't know. And so Matt Patricia, as a seasoned guy, has got a lot on his plate.
And I think he's going to mix things up a lot more. I think we're going to see a lot more odd fronts. And I see why they didn't last year. All 4 defensive linemen were drafted, most of them early, at a first rounder, a second rounder, a fourth rounder and a fifth rounder, something like that. Do I get that right with the 4 starting defensive linemen? Then you had really good depth. Caden McDonald coming off the bench, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry. This year, the starters, I think, will be good. Not as good, but they'll be good. I think I really like the projected starting defensive tackles with Caden McDonald and Edric Houston, Matty. But, where's the depth at? Who's going to be the Caden McDonald of last year? Not necessarily a big 340-pound guy coming off, but, that type of production from a backup defensive tackle. Who's going to provide that? So it is a concern, but I think it's going to be mitigated from the fact that Matt Patricia is going to use a lot more odd fronts, a lot more 3-4. They like their linebackers. They like their depth at defensive end, like you were saying, with guys like Bo Atkinson and Logan George that they brought in. C.J. Hicks has now moved down to DN. So I think we're going to see them be a little bit more creative on defense this year.
It's good stuff, no doubt. That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. Top of the hour after an update. In the deep dive, our boy TLC, he's come across some way too early NFL bowl predictions, Biz, that he wants to throw at us. We will react to those. You should do so as well. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor The Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
This 4th of July, Bob's Discount Furniture is bringing back 4 for the 4th. Spotlighting 4 must-have trendsetters for $7.99 and under, like my farmhouse chic Calvin bedroom, Playday sectional with pop-up sleeper and hidden storage, Consumer Reports recommended treasure mattress, and my 5-star Betty dining set in 4 gorgeous colors. So stop in or visit mybobs.com and celebrate 4 for the 4th. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Shams Charania is reporting that Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton did suffer a torn right Achilles tendon last night. The injury happened in the first quarter of last night's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The Thunder ended up winning that game 103-91. The Cincinnati Reds returning home to Great American Ballpark, starting a series with the New York Yankees at 7:10 this evening. Nick Lodolo versus Alan Winans, the pitching matchup. Pre-game coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:40. We'll join it in progress here on The Fan at 8. Off days for both the Guardians and the Clippers. Cleveland returns home to face the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow. Columbus heads to Iowa to face the Cubs. And we have our first NHL Draft Week trade. The Anaheim Ducks sending forward Trevor Zegras to the Philadelphia Flyers for forward Ryan Poehling and a couple of picks.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, welcome back in. We're Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice. TLC, the loose cannon, a.k.a. Cole, on the board doing his thing, rocking his The Race T-shirt. Again, thanks to all who came out on Saturday and supported us here at The Fan. You guys are the absolute best, and hopefully that will be a year in and year out situation. Dave Biddle in the house today for our guy, A.R. TLC, you told me earlier, you said, Matty Ice, I got some way too early NFL bowl predictions to throw at you guys. And I could not wait to hear this because I love these type of things because they're usually pretty spicy. They better be if they're bold predictions, right? And the NFL and the football world just never sleeps. We're at a point now where with social media and all these different podcasts and all these different shows, where there is always news in the world of football, which is awesome for us because this is what we love. And the season is almost 2 months away. When we get to what, Friday or Monday of next week?
Oh, that's nice to hear. Gotta love that. Is it your favorite sport? Because I love all kinds of sports.
Yeah.
I'd put football number one.
It's no doubt my number one.
Okay.
The blend for me of the NFL with college football.
Yes, sir.
That is a little bit of the baseball playoffs in there. Then we touch the NBA tipping off. Like, that is my favorite time. Jackets rolling. Like, that's it for me. But, yeah, I believe, Bids, when we get to next Monday, we will be exactly 2 months out from Ohio State's opener against Texas, because that is August 30th, correct? Yeah, I think it was August 30th. So
isn't it wild they're opening the season against each other? They just played a thriller in the CFP semifinals. They're leading off the next season against each other. And by the way, Maddie, they are tied for the betting favorites to win the national championship. You just couldn't draw it up any better than that.
No, you couldn't, because on Sark's side of things and Texas' side of things, they're going to be looking for revenge.
Yeah, they are.
Arch is really going to be looking for, he's going to be looking for that. Okay, this is why the hype surrounds me the way it does. I am like, okay, I know he's going to be good. I think the floor is relatively safe. Is he going to be a no doubt great, I'm the number one overall pick guy? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But as far as a scene and the energy around a game, it's going to be through the roof. Game day is going to be here. I'm sure Big Noon Kickoff will be here.
Oh, you know they will.
And all of that. And so, yeah, man, it's...
Unfortunately, it is a noon game.
I know.
Part of the contract. What are you going to do?
That Penn State game probably will be noon, too.
Oh, gosh.
I had to guess.
First time, and that's the last time they're here for like 4 years, right? Because this would be the first time since they joined the conference. They joined in 1993. Ohio State's played them every year. That will not be the case the next 2 years. It's going to be weird not playing Penn State. But they do. They come to the Horseshoe this year. It's an interesting schedule for the Buckeyes. I mean, obviously at Michigan, Texas, Penn State, but games like at Illinois, Washington, I don't think it's going to be good, but you have to go to Washington. They have a really good quarterback, young quarterback who's, now you're in the year 2 of Jed Fish's era, and I thought he did a pretty good job in year 1. I know Wisconsin, we were bad-mouthing Wisconsin, and rightfully so earlier, but still, that one game in Madison, that's, that might be a little tricky. So it's a very interesting schedule for Ohio State this year. They even played the in-state rival, Ohio University Bobcats at home in primetime, the defending MAC champions coming here. It's funny, my daughter will actually be a freshman at Ohio University. She'll be in the Horseshoe wearing green. My wife will be with her decked out in scarlet and gray.
That's awesome. Listen, I love that you brought up that Illinois matchup, because TLC knows, it's something AR and I have talked about a few times.
Loves the Illini this year.
It's just...
I love that 7.5 wins. Is
I'm in
money.
on that.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. I just think that trip over to Champaign for Ryan Day and the gang could be a little dicey.
Yes.
If they hit on what they look like on paper, right? Seasoned quarterback, respectable head coach, bunch of offensive line. They're just a veteran group.
They're recruiting well too.
They are,
and they were good last year, guys. They won 10-3 last year, and I think they're going to be better this year. I'm shocked that the over/under is 7.5. I have them at least 9-3. They have to, obviously, we're talking about they have to host Ohio State. But the rest of their schedule is pretty manageable. It's not Indiana level last year manageable, but. Yeah, I have them going 9-3. I won't be surprised if they go 10-2. So you could go 8-4. You win that bet. You'd have to go 7-5 or worse. I don't see them going being 7-5 or worse. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, and that is going to be a tricky game. Ohio State's had some tricky games over there. It's often a wind tunnel over there at Memorial Stadium in Champaign. So that'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, Big Ten's always an entertaining, conference, but this year I think it can be fun with the Illinois of the world. And what type of leap is Dylan Raiola going to make at Nebraska with how highly touted he was as a recruit? But Ohio State, we know, coming out of that tunnel more times than not, they're going to have the goods to beat anybody in the country. TLC, you found some way too early NFL bold predictions.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to hear a couple of these that you think are pretty interesting. What do you got, my guy?
Well, this comes to us from an NFL columnist whose name I can't pronounce, so we'll just say that he's an NFL columnist.
Is it Jeff Chidia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. I have no idea who this is, Matt. I got you.
You can pronounce it just by
I think I know who that is.
Reading my mind. Very nice. All right, I'll just shout him out to you, and you guys let me know what the knee-jerk reaction is and how it hits your ears. How about number 1, the Bills will win the Super Bowl?
That would not surprise me at all.
Is it just because the 4 that they lost? Like I feel like it would surprise me. I feel like I feel like your Ravens are the team to beat. Yeah, I think the Bengals if the Bengals can have an average defense, I think they're going to be tough to beat.
Yes, no doubt.
But the Bills are legit, so I guess it wouldn't shock me. I just think the Ravens are going to be the team, and you can't look past the Chiefs. It's just the AFC is so damn tough.
It is. I think if I close my eyes, Bids, and I see one of the four, that being Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow, holding the Lombardi Trophy, that's not a surprise to me at all with how elite all four of those guys are. I think specifically with Buffalo, the confidence that they got in-house last year, specifically on offense, when you subtract Stephon Diggs from the equation, and then you go into a world of, okay, Shakir, Keon Coleman, the tight ends and Kincaid and Knox, like, okay, it looks okay on paper, but now they know they can do it and win a whole bunch of games at a high level. They got to figure out the James Cook situation, but they put a lot of defensive pieces into that building via the draft and free agency. That wouldn't surprise me at all. They've been knocking on that door. The Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills, like these AFC teams that are waiting for their time, they are right there. So, no, that wouldn't shock me at all, TLC, if the Bills get it done this year.
Number 2, Bids, I hate to even put this into the atmosphere. I don't want to jinx anything. Joe Burrow, MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he had an MVP type of season last year. It's just the record that you couldn't look past it because their defense was so abysmal. We'll see. I don't think he's going to put up the stats he did last year, but I think he'll definitely be in the running. I mean, you have, and you know, their offensive line's been obviously a disappointment, but they have the makings of maybe a decent offensive line this year. I thought Mims actually had a decent rookie year. Orlando Brown's been okay. If those guys can take another step, you can feel pretty good about your tackles. You had Karras at center. The guards are still a little bit of a question mark, but I think they've upgraded there. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I thought he might win it last year. So, yeah, that would not surprise me at all with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase resigning.
No, this is Joe Shiesty we're talking about. We're talking about Joe Burrow right now, one of the best in the whole world. So not at all. And they have built-in chemistry that not a lot of teams have around the NFL, to where offensively they can come in every single mandatory minicamp, every single training camp, which they'll do here in a few weeks, and know what the heck they're doing. Right? You can just continue to build off of something that's already really good. As far as pure throwers of the football goes in the league, he's one of the best. He's one of the best. If they protect him and if the defense can give him more at-bats with getting some of those 3-and-outs and putting the rock in his hand more times than not, the numbers will be there. So, no, if he wins the MVP, that's not going to be a surprise to me at all either.
I don't know if this one classifies as a bold prediction. I guess the framing of it, and you'll see here in 2 seconds, the Eagles will be the first team to repeat as NFC East champs in 21 years.
I would be surprised if that happens. Just you lose that kind of, it feels like you kind of, well, I guess the Chiefs didn't. They were able to repeat, but sometimes you lose that hunger a little bit after you win a championship. There are exceptions to the rule. We see it in college a lot. We've seen it at Ohio State where 2002, they won the national championship. They brought pretty much everybody back. They're going to be even better. No, they were still good in 2003. 2014, Ohio State wins it all. They bring pretty much everybody back in 2015. Oh, they're going to be a superstar team. They just didn't have the same hunger, it seemed like, that year. The Eagles will be very good, but I'll say no, they will not win the NFC. I think the 49ers will.
TLC off the top of my head.
NFC East.
NFC
East. Excuse me. I'm sorry, NFC East.
No, don't worry. The first time I read that, I read Super Bowl, which those two words aren't anywhere near that sentence.
I'm sorry. I completely misheard you. Yeah, I think they're going to win the NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Washington could.
Dallas, the Pickens edition, I like.
He's not worth that many wins.
No, he's not. And I was going to say, even their running back room, what are we doing? Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa. They've got 4 guys in that mix.
Javonte Williams?
Right. Those are the 4 guys. Yeah, thank you, TLC, where it's I know they can be explosive on offense, but then I come back to it's a rookie head coach. And does he really know what he's doing right now? And so my confidence would be in Washington clipping Philadelphia more so than the Dallas Cowboys. Kellen Moore was the OC in Philly last year.
Yes.
He is now in New Orleans as their head coach. That'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But just dude for dude, roster for roster, they've got one of the best. They should be the favorites to win that division this year. But Washington and what they have going on, especially when you look at the addition of not only Deebo Samuel, but Laramie Tunsil, too. Yeah. That left tackle for Washington is going to be a fun one. But that division, man, you get those 3 teams cooking, that'll be a fun one to watch. That is for sure. So some good bold predictions there, TLC, right there. Coming up in pre-snap reads, a former player in the NFL is saying this is the team he believes will win the AFC this year. You'll hear it next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
The Buy 5, Save 5 deals at Meijer are a great way to stock up on all your 4th of July celebration supplies. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more when you mix or match hundreds of items, like 24 packs of select Coca-Cola and Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. Oscar Mayer Classic Beef Franks, Kraft Shredded or Chunk Cheese, Dole Chopped or Premium Salad Kits, and Dixie Family Pack plates, bowls, or hot cups. The Buy 5, Save 5 deals at Meijer. That's the good life. A good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Common Man here. Let me tell you something. I'm on these Germain inter-office emails. At Germain Lexus, during the month of June, they've challenged themselves to sell more cars than they ever have in 1 month. What does that mean? Well, I'm stupid, but to me, that means they're willing to deal, baby. And the memorial cars are on the lot. The ones the golfers drive for the tournament are now available to you. I've been a Germain customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Common Man and Timmy.
I'm going to take one of them orange cinnamon rolls. I'm going to shove it in your face. I'm going to put it in your mouth. You're going to suck all those orange juices. It's delicious.
Sure, it's delicious.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
No one knows better than a mom what's right for our kids. But with so many apps and devices, protecting them feels harder than ever. My name is Emily. My husband and I have 3 kids and we live in Strongsville. Ohio needs to act and put parents back in charge by passing a common sense law to require app stores to get parental approval before children download apps.
By requiring parental consent and age verification in the App Store, parents will have a simple, secure, and reliable way to choose what's best for their own kids. That's why Ohio's Fraternal Order of Police and the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation both support this common sense approach.
With one clear place to approve the apps they use, Ohio can put parents back in charge.
Tell your state legislators to pass the App Store Accountability Act now. Learn more at OWLR.org. Paid for by Ohio Women Lead Right.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for today. On your Monday, we're tracking plenty of sunshine, another hot one. Highs around 96 this afternoon, but with that humidity, it's going to be feeling like it's over 100 here through the afternoon. So stay cool and stay hydrated here today, but also for the next several days. Tracking a high near 97 here for Tuesday, 94 on Wednesday, and staying into the 90s for the rest of the week, but also looking at chances for showers and storms by Thursday and Friday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, it's pre-snap reads time. Before we get into that, we got to talk about Bet365, folks, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians, where are the Guardians this week? They're off today, and the Guardians will resume action. TLC, do you know where we're at? Oh, Toronto. So they will host Toronto at home. First pitch for that one is 6:40, and I think around the corner in the next week or two, Biz, is a pretty fun series against the Detroit Tigers at home. So they can hold down the fort over the next few days. You get after Detroit. That could be a fun one come next weekend. But Aaron Judge and the Yankees are in the Natty for the next few days. I think one of the easiest bets that I'm going to make over the next 3 days until he does it is Aaron Judge hitting a home run. So I'm going to do it every day, because I know it's going to happen. TLC, you're laughing because you know it's probably going to happen at some point.
Especially in this park.
Yes.
In this park.
In this park,
yeah.
right. Hitters-friendly ballpark.
Not that it would really matter for Aaron Judge,
Exactly.
but it doesn't hurt.
I'm going anytime home run tonight for Aaron Judge at plus 165. So as our guy Jensen Lewis calls it, the great American launching pad is what he calls it down there, because for hitters, the ball just flies out of there.
I like that better than Great American Small Park, although that was a Carl Ravitch. That's still a good one.
No,
Great American Small Park. I don't know why they did that. They're like, well, we have Ken Griffey Jr. and Adam Dunn. We're gonna, those guys don't need a short porch, right? They hit ball far.
That's real. So this is my first of three. Aaron Judge, anytime home run. I'm doing it tonight. The juice on that is plus 165. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, download the Bet365 app today. They've got a great new sign-up offer for you where you bet $5, you will get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. So check out the website. Again, download the Bet365 app as well. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
You know, I mentioned earlier, Bids, how we now live in this world where there's just so many different outlets for you as a football fan to grab content and hear from people that really study the game, but current players, former players, they're all over the place. And one of those platforms that's good at, I think, rotating in former players and current players is Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. They had on today Teron Armstead, who was a former Saints offensive lineman, former Miami Dolphins offensive lineman, and just retired this offseason. And he was talking about this AFC where you got so many good teams. You got a handful of elite teams. And who does he look at this year and say that is the team that could come out of the AFC?
The Ravens are my way too early AFC Super Bowl favorite. I can see them coming out of the AFC. I think this is the year that they get over the hump. Lamar has been Lamarvelous throughout his career. He has been. And to your point, regular season they have done really well. Postseason not so much. But it's hard to even go back, even after heartbreak in the playoffs, to pick yourself back up and go win the division again and again. It's hard to do. And that's the goal. Every year you want to put yourself in position to win. So you want to win the division first, then you look at playoff seed. So they have done that. To be able to knock the Chiefs off and knock the Buffalo Bills off in the playoffs, you get a signing like Jair Alexander to come over. I think he is that piece to put them over the hump. I think that addition is the one to put them over the hump. It frees up Kyle Hamilton so much. He doesn't have to worry about the back end coverage. To be able to support in the run game, to be able to blitz and add pressure with the guys that they have on the outside, I think this is the year they get over that hump.
The Jair Alexander edition on paper looks really, really good. The big question mark that I have is his availability. That's it. Like, the talent is there, but he hasn't been available a lot the last couple of seasons for Green Bay. So we shall see what that looks like. But, yeah, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better roster top to bottom than what the Ravens have. They're competing with a very small amount of teams that have elite rosters in the sport. So I hear what he's saying. For me, as a Ravens fan, like, at this point, regular season doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like, I know that we have a relatively safe floor, got an amazing quarterback, but it's time to cash in because these type of rosters, when you have a quarterback that's getting paid the amount of money that Lamar is getting paid, this may not happen often. And so it does look really, really good on paper. But those playoff demons, Lamar and Mark Andrews and that core of the guys that have been around for a while, they have to answer the call. And that call is getting to a Super Bowl. You hosted the Chiefs in an AFC Championship game, held their offense to 17 points, did not get it done. Went on the road to Buffalo last year, thought the defense had a good showing. Lamar and Mark Andrews did not play their best game. That's what this is about. But if you want to just talk about talent up and down the rosters around the NFL, Baltimore, no doubt, has one of the best right now on paper. But that's all it is paper.
They do a great job. I mean, their front office is on point. Again, I mean, getting Derrick Henry for pretty much nothing, one of the best running backs of all time and seeing what he did last year. Now you get, and Jair Alexander, you're right. I mean, he's been banged up, but like it's a no-risk move. Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're paying him that much. You didn't have to trade for him. And you guys, I'll say you guys, and the Ravens are well coached. I hate to admit it, but very well coached. I mean, John Harbaugh is one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL, clearly, right? I mean, he's won a Super Bowl, always has them in the mix. So you have a really good front office, you have a really good roster, and you're well coached. Mm-hmm. They're going to get over the hump eventually. I know he's gotten over the hump. He won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, who actually turned out to be a pretty good quarterback all these years. Maybe he'll have one good year left in him in Cleveland this year. We'll see. But man, great roster, great front office, great head coach. That's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, and look, the AFC North we know is going to be a grind. I mean, just think about the 2 games that we got between the Ravens and the Bengals and how the splitting of hairs in those games and the things that happened in those games to swing the 2 to Baltimore in the blink of an eye could have been things that easily went to Cincinnati side of things, and how different would the Bengals season have looked if they would have just picked up those 2 games. I mean, the season for Cincy was just funky, man.
They needed just one.
Just one. I mean,
just one of those.
The New England game.
Oh, gosh, that was a killer.
The Washington game. Like, these games early on combined with, like, the Ravens-Bengals game in Cincinnati was nuts.
Yes.
Just absolute.
How many times was that game over?
Nuts.
I thought, now it's over. Now it's over.
Right.
No.
The Lamar fumble. Yeah. Like, that's it.
Game over.
Like, Bengals are winning this game.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, you had the mishandle of the long snap. Wait, no, it was a field goal attempt or an extra point, one of those 2.
Yeah.
And that wasn't clean. So we know the Bengals can compete with the best of the best. But that's the difference, right? When you're talking about when you have 2 all-world quarterbacks, it's that possession or 2 in a game and taking that away from a Joe Burrow, Lamar, Pat Mahomes, that could be the difference. So those battles are going to be fun for years to come. Now you're adding Aaron Rodgers to this mix with the Steelers baked in, safe floor every year. We'll see how high he can raise their ceiling. But, yeah, the AFC right now, Biz, is it's off the chain, man.
I tell you, I got a chance to meet Mike Tomlin in person at Pro Day.
How was that?
It was very cool. And I preface it with, I was wearing a Cincinnati Reds hat. Yeah. I did preface it with, hey, do you mind talking to a Bengals fan for a second? I introduced myself. I said, I cover Ohio State and everything. And I told him, I said, a couple times a year I don't like you, but I respect the heck out of you. He was so cool, which doesn't surprise. I mean, he's like, everybody knows Mike Tomlin's cool. He was a good guy, though. We just sat there and talked for like a minute. So, yeah, I met the enemy, but I was impressed. And you know what's funny? Like, Steeler fans don't like him, right? I mean, Steeler fans are like, I have a lot of friends that are Steeler fans, and other than that, they're good people. And they are done with Tomlin. And I'm like, listen, we can do a Zach Taylor for Mike Tomlin straight up trade right now. Right now, they're probably we like him more than that.
I don't know if I want that.
Exactly.
Like Bengals fans don't even like Zach Taylor.
Right.
That's always my thing with Mike Tomlin, because I hear with TLC, and I got a couple friends that are Steelers too. Like, I get it. What he's brought to you is fine. You've been at the top of the mountain though with that guy. So when you get there with that guy, that kind of sets the expectation. Then you go down the road, okay, 9 wins, 10 wins, 8 wins in that window for a long time. It's time to level up. But I'm always like, okay, if you want to get rid of that guy, who are you replacing him with to bring in that safe floor exceed what he's done. My thing, I try to keep it as simple as possible. He hasn't had good enough quarterback play. Now, some of that does fall at his feet. I get it. But when he does get that, I think things will turn around. But they're an interesting team this year.
Yes, they are.
They really are. The T.J. Watt thing, I think that will get itself figured out.
For sure.
But, Bids, do they have enough juice on offense? I don't know.
They've beefed up their offensive line for sure. They've invested in their offensive line. I still don't know if it's like where you guys want it to be, but you've definitely invested in with draft picks and a lot of draft picks, a lot of high draft picks. Frazier was a really good pick for you guys. You get him in the second round. That was a steal.
Yeah,
you have your center for the next 15 years. That'll be fun. But
and they may have their next Cam Hayward, who they got, Derek Harmon in the draft.
Yeah, and
on
the
D-line.
They're always getting Buckeyes that aren't just good, but like that I love personally. And a lot of times that's a steal. Like Cam Hayward, even though he was a first-round pick, that was late in the first round. That was obviously a steal. Jack Sawyer in the fourth round. Yeah. And listen, I don't even know Jack Sawyer is going to be a starter in the NFL. I tend to think he'll be a good NFL player, at the very least a rotational piece. But getting him in the fourth round, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know.
You get Will Howard in the sixth round. Jeez.
I know they had their issues with George Pickens in-house. I get it. But waking up on Sundays, and this is just right now, if it remains, and you're looking at, all right, we got DK and Freiermuth, but, I mean, Roman Wilson? Really? Calvin Austin? These guys ready for that?
Even Freiermuth is a really.
I like them, but, it's like, okay, it's a little light. And this is a similar story to what we're talking about last year, but I think their quarterback play will be better.
It will be
How
better.
much better? I don't know.
Yeah, and can he stay healthy? Because obviously Aaron Rodgers, he was okay last year. Stats that look decent. I think the advanced metrics weren't very kind to him, but he doesn't have that mobility that he used to. So that's going to be a factor. But it's interesting, man. It just makes a really interesting division even more interesting, having Aaron Rodgers in the fold.
One division that could be interesting is the NFC West, with some question marks around certain teams out there. A former Buckeye that's going to have a lot to say in that division is Jackson Smith-Njigba. What has Cooper Kupp, his new teammate, seen from him? You will hear that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Factory direct is really pretty simple. The factory sells it directly to the consumer. I mean, we build it. There's nothing that anybody else does. We have stations where everybody touches the window. Everyone sees what's going on. So if there's an issue, we catch it as it's going down the line. That's probably the biggest thing, is the ability to make sure what goes out the door is what I want to go out the door.
Visit Rosati Windows by the end of this month and get 35% off all windows and doors.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
In 2014, Reds catcher Devin Mesoraco had his best season for the Reds, earning an all-star selection and hitting 25 home runs. And 4 of those home runs came in consecutive games that June. And what made that remarkable was that the first one had no one on base, the second one had 1 on, the third one had 2 on, and the fourth one, yes, it came with the bases loaded, a grand slam on this date, June 23rd. Mesoraco was the first player ever to do that in sequence in 4 straight games. A solo home run followed by a 2-run shot, then a 3-run blast, and finally a grand slam. A unique record for the Reds' young catcher, capped off on this June 23rd, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Like Yoda, Rothman will limp onto the golf course, talk about how stiff his back is, wonder how he can even make it through a hole, and then proceed to kick your ass. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Welcome back in. Matty Ice, Dave Biddle in the house today for our guy AR. TLC on the board. Thanks for joining us as always. Hope you guys are staying as cool as you possibly can on a smoking hot Monday. Speaking of smoking hot, we mentioned the Yankees are in town, so Cincinnati's going to be on fire. Columbus tonight will be on fire for all of us wrestling fans because Monday Night Raw is here in the building. So Jey Uso, Yeet, Cody Rhodes, he's in the building. So yeah, man, that'd be awesome, man. It'll be a fun night in Ohio. Can't wait to see what Monday Night Raw looks like in our backyard. The NFC West, always an interesting division out there. I like the NFC West because like I'll go out with my friends for usually like the 1 o'clock games. Come home, you'll have the 4:25 game on. And then there's usually a combination of the Niners, Seahawks, Rams, somewhere in that 4:25 window on one of Fox or CBS or whatever that's going to look like. But now here we are with a guy in Jackson Smith-Njigba, former Buckeye, who I think is walking into the opportunity he envisioned when he got drafted in the league. That one day, this wide receiver room will be mine. And that looks like that's going to be the case. They did add a heck of a player in Cooper Kupp in his own right. Cooper Kupp was on the NFL Network and talked about JSN, some of the things that he's seeing from him early on and in the process and what JSN may bring to the field this year.
I think the first thing that struck me was he's a lot stronger, he plays a lot stronger, and he's a lot stronger than I think people know about Jackson. There's a play strength that comes along with that, being able to be on the field, and his decisiveness is, I think his belief in himself and what he can do, and then being able to go out there and just make it happen. Incredibly competitive, and I think that's one of those things as a receiver, you get into some positions where, hey, I'm impressed, and I've got a plan. Boom, I hit my first move, I hit my counter, and it's just still not there. But the competitiveness is just say, I just know I'm not going to lose. I'm going to find a way to win. Jackson has that. Similar to what, Puka was like coming in as well. It's just the competitiveness and the play strength are both very similar. And so I'm really excited about being out there with Jax. He's an awesome dude, wants to get better, he asks all the right questions, and he's striving, man. He's striving to find ways to find an edge, and it's going to be a lot of fun playing with him this year.
I really like the opportunity that's at his doorstep this year, that being JSN.
Yeah, and not surprising to hear those comments from Cooper Kupp, but man, that speaks volumes. A guy that's won a Super Bowl, he's been at the highest level, one of the top receivers in the NFL, and for him to say those things about JSN, again, not a surprise. We know him well. He has had the best performance in a bowl game in the history of college football for a wide receiver in that Rose Bowl. Yeah. Defense need not apply in that Ohio State-Utah Rose Bowl, but C.J. Stroud and JSN just carved him up. Yeah, man, I remember when he came out, I was thinking, I said the same thing about Emeka this year. I didn't know if JSN was going to be a star, but it wouldn't surprise me. I felt like he was the safest pick in the draft. Now, you never know if somebody could have like a catastrophic injury, take that off the board. I feel the same way with Emeka. It's like, I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but I think unless he has a catastrophic injury, he's going to be a really good NFL player for at least a decade. I feel the exact same way with JSN. He really broke out last year. Now I feel like he will be a star with everything Cooper Kupp's saying and everything that Jackson did last year. Now he is the number one receiver there. Even though they have Cooper Kupp, I would say Kupp's the number two. JSN is the number one. So yeah, he was almost like he was a one and done, because his true freshman year was the COVID year. He played as a true freshman, had that one real good touchdown in the back of the end zone, and then was awesome in 2021, but then got hurt in 2022 in the opener against Notre Dame and never really tried to come back, was never really able to come back. Then eventually he just got ready. So we were only really treated to 1 year of JSN, but man, great young man, tough as nails, and no surprise to see him succeeding big time in the NFL.
Cooper Kupp is the name on the marquee, I think, for the wide receiver room, Seattle, but in-house, they should want, in my opinion, JSN to be their number one. That's the most important part of this, and Cooper being a compliment to what JSN can be this year and I think will be in years to come. They had DK in the mix last year, that being DK Metcalf. He is now in Pittsburgh. But even last year, JSN led that team in receiving yards. So this, I think, maybe was even brewing in-house a year ago. You touched on Emeka, and to me, Bids, their out of the gate vibe and situations that they're in, that being Emeka and JSN, are very, very similar. Because down there in Tampa right now, you've got Emeka sandwiched between two really good veteran wide receivers. one in a Hall of Famer in Mike Evans. Chris Godwin is a dude in his own right. But then Emeka, there may be a bit of a struggle in year one for targets.
Right.
The numbers may not reflect how good he really is. And I think JSN had to go through that his first couple of years in the league where you had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett as well. I do think Emeka's in a more of a hit-the-ground running type of vibe with his quarterback because Baker has really figured things out in his career, and I think that three-headed monster has a chance to be really good for Tampa. And Tampa's been, I know it's been a light division, but they look pretty good to me with what they've been able to do over the last couple of years. But you're JSN. You got yourself a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, who got himself a new bag. But I think the Cooper Kupp part of this can pay dividends for him down the road. Because I think, like, when I think about Cooper Kupp and I think about JSN, like, I don't know if their games are apples to apples with what they do. But I think Cooper Kupp, to me, is closer to what JSN does than Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is built in a lab, touched by the hand of God with physique and can run by everybody. Tyler Lockett had amazing long speed, deep ball type of wide receiver. Like, Cooper Kupp's a little bit craftier to me with what he was able to do. And I think for JSN, this will be a big year for him to just pick up all those little tricks of the trade of how he goes about his business with his route trees and everything. And I think this is going to be a big time year as far as numbers go for JSN. I don't know how good Seattle's going to be, Bids, but JSN's, I think, is going to put up good numbers.
And hopefully for him that Sam Darnold's year last year was not a fluke, right? Because we were ready to write off Sam Darnold. He had a really good year for the Vikings, and the Seahawks paid him well. So we'll see. I think the jury is still very much out on Sam Darnold, but maybe what he showed last year is what he's going to be the rest of his career, or maybe the Vikings just have a magic touch with quarterbacks. We'll find out. But yeah, that would give me a little trepidation this year because I don't know how good Sam Darnold's going to be. I tend to think he'll be good enough. And JSN, let's say we were doing a fantasy show, I'd feel very comfortable taking JSN early in a fantasy draft.
Volume.
Maybe not first round, but second round probably.
I agree because I think the volume's going to be through the roof, Biz. Like, I think the amount of targets that are going to come his way will be interesting. Yeah, that case study, though, for Sam Darnold is going to be must-see TV because you touched on where he came from, and you've got Kevin O'Connell, who a lot of people think is a great offensive mind. We've seen that offense hum with some backup quarterbacks. They had to find out what J.J. McCarthy was going to be. It would have made no sense to me to pay Sam Darnold a boatload of money over the next few years when you have a first-round pick at quarterback on the sideline. But there's a lot of pressure on him, both Sam Darnold and who he replaced in Geno Smith going over to the Raiders, who got big-time money. But the wide receivers that come from Columbus that are now in the NFL.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You have people saying, what's wrong with Marvin Harrison Jr.? It's like, okay, come on, let's calm down. Did he set the world on fire as a rookie? He's going to be just fine. It wasn't that long ago we were saying things like, is Marvin Harrison Jr. the best wide receiver to ever come through here? We were having that discussion like 2 years ago. Now it's like, is Jeremiah Smith the best receiver to ever come through here? I would say yes. I know that's, listen, Chris Carter, Terry Glenn, everybody. I mean, it's saying a lot, all the recent guys that have come through here, but I think we are. I'll be surprised if we're not looking back at Jeremiah Smith as the best that come through here. But it's just crazy what Brian Hartline has done year after year. Sometimes they have 2 first-rounders at wide receiver. They at least have 1 first-rounder every year. They'll have another one this next year. I think Carnell Tate will be a first-rounder. And then shockingly, I think in 2027, J.J. Smith will be one too. So it is crazy what Brian Hartline is doing with wide receivers over there.
Depending on what that draft class looks like around Jeremiah Smith, I think we need to prepare ourselves for conversations of him being the number 1 overall pick in that draft. Now, there may be a quarterback or two that pops up over the next season or two, but I think with how good he is and where the league is with the way offenses run and how some of these rules are catered to the offense, it'd be a worth the pick to me, taking him number 1 overall with where his skill set will be in a couple years. Yeah, good stuff, man. But yeah, JSN, I think, is in a good position to ball out in Seattle this year. We'll hit the finish line of the show next. We'll tell the truth. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This just in from the Lindsay Honda Newsroom. It's our big anniversary sale. 0% for up to 60 months has been extended on all new Hondas. Drive a new 2025 CR-V LX all-wheel drive with 0% financing.
Lower your rate, lower your payment.
Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas when you buy now.
With so many Hondas, why would you go anywhere else?
Shop the big, the beautiful Lindsay Honda now. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill, hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fans YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
Cowan Man here. Let me tell you something. I'm on these Germain inter-office emails. At Germain Lexus, during the month of June, they've challenged themselves to sell more cars than they ever have in 1 month. What does that mean? Well, I'm stupid, but to me, that means they're willing to deal, baby. And the memorial cars are on the lot. The ones the golfers drive for the tournament are now available to you. I've been a Germain customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
When was the last time you had your plumbing inspected? Small issues such as tiny leaks or old water heaters can quickly turn into big problems if they're not caught early. Take action with Logan Services and schedule a free plumbing safety inspection to help keep your home running smoothly. Schedule your free inspection now and experience the fast, friendly service you've come to expect from Logan Services.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free, plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, TLC, it is your time to cook. What do you got in that kitchen over there today?
Well, here's the first thing I got.
Yeah.
Join us Friday night for the Blue Jackets draft special on The Fan. Bob McElligott and Dylan Tyre will be live from Nationwide Arena as the Jackets look to add some exciting new talent to the lineup. And it all starts Friday at 6. The Blue Jackets draft special, sponsored by Ohio Health, only on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
There you go, company man. There he is.
There we go. Paying some bills.
There you go.
Actually, more so just house promos. Anyway. The fan poll today is which Ohio State football injury in the last couple of decades broke your heart the most the moment that it happened? Obviously, kind of playing off of Halliburton last night.
Yeah.
Your options are Ted Ginn versus Florida. I guess this wasn't in a game, but whenever you got the Braxton Miller news, And then that same season, JT Barrett against Michigan.
Boy, Bits.
I remember breaking something when JT got hurt because I remember thinking, I love Cardale, but man, we're not winning the national title with Cardale until we did. I'm going to say we. Yeah, I had a lot to do with it. No, JT, I remember I was mad about all of those. Ted Ginn, I thought, because that was opening kickoff, I was like, we're still up 7-0. This Urban Meyer guy, he's not going to outcoach Jim Tressel. Okay. It got progressively worse after that. JT Barrett was the one I remember. I just absolutely broke something because I could tell that he was done.
I remember where I was when the Ted Ginn injury happened. And the deflating feeling that came over not only myself, but the folks I was watching the game with was like, oh, no. Like similar to what Indiana had. This is the first quarter of the game last night for the Pacers. And as you just mentioned with Teddy Ginn, early in the game, you're like, oh, explosive playmaker. Can they figure it out on the fly? So I'm going to go with Ted Ginn. All of those were obviously very crappy at the time. But I felt in that moment emotionally, I didn't know where that was going to go after Ted was taken out of the equation. So I'm going to go with that one.
Some of these fools be getting women names put on them and they break up with them like damn idiots.
It is National Detroit-Style Pizza Day. Are you in on Detroit-Style pizza?
So when we talk Detroit-style pizza, this is the sauce on top of the cheese and pepperoni or whatever your toppings are, correct?
And it's square with the cheese, almost like not burnt, but like almost burnt like cheese around the crust. Yeah.
To me, I'm fine with it. It all tastes the same to me. Aesthetically, it does look odd, but at the end of the day, it's still pepperoni, cheese, bread, and sauce. And that's all I need. However you want to concoct it, I'm good. I'm in on Detroit pizza.
I am also in on it, and I'm typically a thin crust guy. Like I like Columbus style. I like thin crust, but I like what the Detroit style is where I get into some deep crust because I like what they do with that burnt cheese around the edge. There's something really good about that. Yeah, and the sauce on top. I like some Detroit style.
Would you ever consider playing for the Saints?
No.
That's my quarterback right there. He's committed. Returning to the list of the bold predictions for the 2025 NFL season. By the way, if I told you that he had somebody other than the Chiefs winning the AFC West, who would you think that he said?
Chargers.
Broncos.
Matty Ice, it's you.
Nice.
Broncos will snap the Chiefs' streak of 9 straight AFC West championships. How does that land?
It doesn't land very well. And now Bo Nix is way better than I thought he'd be. I was thinking, really? Was that a panic pick because all the quarterbacks you went ahead of him? Like, no. Looks like that was a pretty good pick. But, no, man. I mean, I know that they lost in the Super Bowl last year, and a lot of times that can have the hangover effect. But, no, until proven otherwise, give me the Chiefs.
They have a championship coach. They have a quarterback, to your point, Bids. We got to put some respect on his name, right? I know they're excited about this R.J. Harvey kid they brought in. J.K. Dobbins did sign there. Or am I making that up?
Yeah.
He did sign there. And they have the Defensive Player of the Year as a pillar on defense in Patrick Surtain. It's funny, though, because in an odd way, I feel better about the Chargers than I do the Broncos.
I do, too, because at least Herbert's a little bit more experienced. I can see Nick's having a sophomore slump. And as much as I hate to say it, I mean, Harbaugh's been a good NFL head coach.
Yeah, everywhere he goes, pretty good to great football follows him.
Yep.
That's what you got to give the man. Now, all the other stuff that happened at Michigan, we understand that. But his NFL stuff looks pretty darn good. And he does have the better of the two quarterbacks between Herbert and Bo Nix. But what they're building in Denver, I think, is legit. Are they going to be ready for that right now in 2025? My gut says no. But they did, it looked like, hit on a quarterback who I think Bids, at minimum, provides a pretty safe floor. Talent for talent, Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar, Joey B. Can he go blow for blow with those guys? We shall see. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to go with, I'm not seeing it right now for Denver in year one to clip Kansas City.
The kids are playing their tail off, and the coaches are screwing it up.
John L. Smith, baby.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for me not to laugh through this one. Bold prediction, again, not my own. Ashton Genty will run for 2,000 yards.
In his career? Oh, they mean as a rookie?
Yeah.
No, not happening. I just said I think he's going to have a big rookie year. Not that big.
2,000 yards is special stuff. I mean, we watched Saquon get it done barely. What was he, like 2,005 yards or something like that? And then Derrick Henry was knocking on the door. They still didn't do it. The at-bats will be there. Chip Kelly's a great offensive coordinator, as we know. By the way, Chip Kelly getting $6 million a year from the Raiders. Get the bag, Chip Kelly. No, I'm going to go. No, he'll be highly productive, but I don't think they'll get 2,000 yards for him.
We got to have 6 of the players get COVID.
That's one way to win. Actually, you know what? On that topic, here's to tell the truth. Will Matt Patricia be here more than 1 year?
Ooh.
On that Chip Kelly topic.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I think he's going to want to build this thing out, and I think this will be a pretty good pairing. This is giving me Jim Knowles vibes, right? Jim Knowles got here, and he was here 4 years?
3 years.
3 years. So I'm going to go Patricia. Yeah, he'll be here for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd put the over-under at 1.5, and I would take the over. I do think he'll be here at least 2 years, maybe 3. Now, the caveat would be if they have a great year on defense and somebody gives him $6 million a year to go to the NFL to be a D coordinator. But he seems happy here. He's talking about how his family likes it. He likes it. I think he'll be here more than 1 year.
There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me.
Josh Rosen.
No, there weren't.
Josh Rosen.
These are funny clips.
They're great. The drop king over there, our guy, TLC. Hey, if you missed anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up wherever you get your podcast. All you have to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3, we'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Our podcast is sponsored by the great folks over at Bet365. Bids, thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, brother. TLC, great job on the board. Folks, we love you. Stay safe. Stay cool out there. We will talk to you tomorrow at high noon. Timmy Hall back in the mix with Common Man right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. See your Kroger Pharmacy for details.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Hi, this is Bob Mashetter from Dick Mashetter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at mashetterford.net. Thanks.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
10 West Broad, Columbus. CordellCordell.com.
What John Smiley, Chairman and CEO, wants you to know about First Bank of Central Ohio.
Our competitive advantage is the number of years we've been in Central Ohio and the fact that we're able to make decisions here locally that make sense for the client. At the end of the day, it's the ability for us to say, okay, what can we do to make your banking easier for you?
Experience what it's like to be first at fbcentralohio.com.